Wipers! All right, we're in.
Here we go.
We got Mark Mason, and my headphones are still all fucked up.
I can hear you good. You sound good to me.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
You sound perfect.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties, but we, well, now mine's all jacked up, too.
Yeah,
we will
my
figure
shit's all
this out.
fucked up. Wipers! And we're back.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, even though it's Thursday.
I was about to say, I was like, is it Friday?
Yeah, but we release our shows on Friday.
Fridays,
So
yeah,
if you're
okay.
listening to this, it's probably Friday.
Yeah, we get a lot of the comments on YouTube, too, like, Wipers clapping in.
Yeah, exactly.
It's become a thing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, typically you're supposed to not hear the clap because that syncs up our shit. But
Right.
We included an accident one day, and Nick was kind of pissed about it, but then we're like,
Just own it.
well, we just own it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So now it's a
Yeah.
part of all of them?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's become a thing.
It seems like it's amateur hour, but it's intentional.
yeah.
That's what we tell everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've got Mark Mason, retired SEAL, Chief Warrant Officer.
Yeah, it's our first warrant on the show.
Yeah. We went to Buds together
No shit.
back in the mid 90s. And yeah, welcome to the show. I'm sure you've got a lot of crazy stories. I just remember I remember being in Buds with this cat, and he was like you were like an E5 going through Buds, or E4 maybe?
Yeah, it was E4 going on Admiral. You know,
Yeah.
had it all figured out.
But dude, this motherfucker had every scam to get out of shit.
Oh, that's a good person to have in the class.
I remember you used to tell the story. You're like, no, man, you just walk around with a fucking clipboard with a bunch of fucking shit on it. And like people just like if you go from like point A to point B and you're like pissed off and you're like talking to yourself and like, dude, people leave you the fuck alone.
I see now why it went warrant. That makes so much
Yeah.
sense. Right?
I still do that shit today. It works.
Yeah, it's like the biggest scam in the military. You're like,
Dude,
man,
you can get into clubs like that. You can get into concerts like that. You can get in a lot of places like that.
Yeah,
Just have a
yeah.
clipboard.
Yeah, if you
look
have a red
for-
folder too, then you're like
Yeah.
ran everywhere. People think you're carrying
So
something special.
welcome, and then also we've got Chris Groves as our Nick today, because Nick and Nikki, his wife, they're still up in
they're
Canada.
They're heading back from Canada today. And then Chris Groves, you might remember, one of our most popular episodes ever with the Australian accent, English
Yeah.
accent, a ton of stuff. So he's coming on as co-host today and filling in for Nick. So we're, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, man, I'm excited.
Are you guys still having issues with your headphones too still?
I'm good.
Mine's like in and out. Okay, now I feel good. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it. Thanks, Kevin. You're touching the right buttons over there.
I found it. The clitoris.
Yeah, he found it.
Yeah. Well, hey, welcome, guys.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I mean, typically, Mark, we just start at the beginning. I know you grew up in Pennsylvania, right?
Pittsburgh. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, right
So
on.
tell us about your upbringing.
Is it normal childhood or like some?
Yeah. So
Wild stuff.
anything but no. How I like to describe it, if at least with me and my friends, if you was to take the Sandlot and Little Rascals, but that being directed by and produced by Quentin Tarantino, so
Nice.
just a lot more violence and,
Yeah.
drugs and chaos and when I look back, and I mentioned this in my retirement years ago, it's just like I think how I grew up with my buddies and the shit we did was probably more dangerous than the teams, and I still don't understand how I made it through that, but it definitely set me up for success everywhere else. But I guess in short, growing up in Pittsburgh, blue collar family, blue collar city, everything is about valued on your work ethic. And, that's how my dad would hey, that guy's a real worker, that was the difference. And then you drink, that's what you do. Whether it be Monday, Friday, or whatever it is, you put down some beers and
Thirsty
and,
Thursday.
People threw hands. It's fights all the time. And
Yeah.
so your head's on a swivel. Sometimes you're going to be the guy that's getting hit at the party, but your friends the next day. So that kind of just gave you that situational awareness.
That is good training for the
It is
team.
good training. I'm one of six, so I'm like the second youngest. So I was constantly fighting for attention and trying to make my communicate and get my way and manipulate. So that kind of set me up for things as well, of finding how to get things done and sarcasm is the love language where I grew up. So you have to be quick and you insult someone first before they insult you.
Ah, all
Come to
right.
find out that's not how the rest of the world seems to work, and it's not the best thing for relationships.
No.
Nice hat. Get a free bowl of soup with that shit.
Yeah. So this is why me and this knucklehead kind of got
I can
along.
see that,
So
yeah.
it's just early on, and Yeah. So, in a nutshell, that's kind of like what I grew up. Dad was out of his mind crazy, and a bunch of funny stories there. He was boxer and a steel worker for 37 years.
Oh shit!
So,
Man. Right on.
So there's that type of
Rocky, dude.
Are you? Are your parents still married?
They're both dead. Yes, still married.
Dude, that's crazy. Which is kind of weird. Obviously, 50-50 shot, but I find, it's either. It's kind of weird. Like most of the team guys that we interview on here, our parents are either still together, or were for the duration, or
some train wreck of a story.
Or it's like, nope, dad left, raised by my mom, or like we don't have any like hardly, or at least I don't remember any like 50-50 where like. Parents were good up until the point of like
it was like no in between.
10 or 12
You're
years
still
old.
married, or I grew up in a trailer park. My dad killed my mom.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, for real.
But did you play any sports or?
Yeah, all of them, but not very well. So football, baseball, we're big. I played football since like 8, baseball probably since 7, all the way up through what was back east, Pop Warner.
Yeah.
And we had like. I grew up in a little town called Greenfield in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In fact, the head coach of the Steelers from my hometown, he's on TV right now at the Greenfield baseball.
Who is the new
organization.
coach?
Mike McCarthy.
Oh shit!
So
okay.
Green Bay's coach, and
and then he went to Dallas, right?
Went to
and
Dallas,
Then he
yeah.
didn't coach. Did he coach anywhere last year?
no, he took I think a year or two off, and then he's Pittsburgh's coach. So yeah, he's like from a family of there's like 8 kids, and he's actually went to school with my older brother, and so they're just down the street from me. But yeah, it's anyway. So the area I grew up in, played baseball. Probably 6, 7 years old, T-shirt league, little league, and played football since 8. Pop Warner, played football in high school a little bit, and boxed. My dad had a gym, a local gym that guy that trained him passed away, left it to him and another guy, and so they had a gym in our hometown. And so that
This
was
is
probably,
such a Rocky story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Totally.
Steel worker, boxer.
Other end of the state, but yeah, that's fucking crazy. You know?
Rocky's like that movie was like. No matter what kind of trouble I'm in, if it was on TV, I'm fucking out of trouble. So we'd watch that together. And I can remember going to the
Rocky
movies.
with me.
I remember going to movies to see that with my father, and he's up screaming at I think it might be Rocky 2, where Adrian comes downstairs and Rocky's hitting the bag, and she's like, "You can't fight anymore." He's like, "Shut the fuck up and go upstairs!" And like everyone's like clapping for him. And my dad's the guy standing up screaming, and he's just like, "Yeah, it's just insane." Yeah.
He's like taking notes. That's how it's done.
But yeah, it's Pittsburgh's a diehard sports town, so it's like everything is about the Steelers. And I don't think I ever heard my grandma swore unless there was like Bradshaw threw an interception.
Yeah.
And it's like, that cocksucker, he's not looking at the guy splitsing from the weak side. Yeah, so it's one of those things.
Yeah.
And it was a time when the mills were like they were booming, but they were just starting to die off. And probably about the time I left is when all the mills kind of start closing down, and the town really start going to shit.
Bizarre.
But it's funny because I go back there now. Now they kind of readjust it, and they like every doctor goes through UPMC. So Pitt. UPMC is one of the major medical hospitals, so all the doctors do their internships through Pitt or through Philly. So that kind of brought the city back up financially. But it's interesting because when I go there now with my kids, there's not like at any given time there'd be like 15 or 20 of us hanging out.
Yeah.
There's just like so many kids because all their dads are still workers, and these are the towns they lived in. And it was just this riffraff.
It didn't turn into Detroit. There's still a lot of fucking people there.
Well, it started to in the 90s, and then when they gave these big tax breaks to the to medical and all that stuff, it brought in a lot of like doctors and it brought in that industry. So the blue collar folks within now just work for the hospitals to fix stuff and other things, and so it's different than how I grew up. But it's funny because I just took all my blended family, so our kids, my kids from first marriage, my wife's kids from her first marriage, and we brought everyone back to Pittsburgh, and they're meeting my friends and hearing these stories, and my friends' kids too. They're like, "Yeah, what do you mean? That's just ridiculous. That's how you got they live there, and they're like, yeah, that's just."
Yeah.
Like we're more civilized now. Like just hearing the things we would do.
But it is kind of crazy. I mean, to our viewers who don't know the proximity of like Pittsburgh is on the western end of Pennsylvania, like close to Ohio. Mm-hmm. But I mean, just that whole area of like Wisconsin and Ohio and
West Virginia comes up there too.
Yeah, all that
yeah.
shit right there. Like,
There's a lot of team guys from that area too.
Yep.
yeah. Well, Mikey's from there.
Yeah, it's from Erie.
Yeah. But dude, it's just crazy because it's such just a gritty part of the country, and like you're saying, you either or all the above, drink, fight, and
Fornicate.
drink, fight, fight. Mostly drink and fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, you know, a lot of crazy history there with the amount of, you know, breweries and, you know, this obviously the steel in the area, and it just early
America, really.
yeah, the formation of our country and
The Industrial Revolution was
Well,
like,
no,
hot
it's
there, yeah.
Pittsburgh built America. That's the steel came from there. So you got Carnegie, you got Rockefeller, all those folks.
Oh, sure.
That's
Yeah.
where those steel mills, they were the first ones and they were the largest ones. And that steel went to build New York. It went to build all the cities around the country. And so and when they first started, they built communities to house the workers, right? And so you'll see these houses that all look alike, and they're like right next to where the steel mills were. Now, when you go there, it's like, why are these houses there? Because those steel mills are gone, and they got some other shit there. And then those communities turn into like, okay, they're not owned anymore by U.S. Steel or by J&L. Now it's now Greenfield, but that still is the conglomerate of where people are now. This is Homestead, the conglomerate of where those people lived.
Yeah.
And, you know, these are men that carried, you know, work pails, you know, like to work, right?
Literally,
And
yeah.
so they're not wearing satchels or man purses. And so unless you're Indiana Jones, that's just fucking wouldn't be okay for my dad, right? And so he'd be like, fucking wearing a purse. But and they had that
submersed.
camaraderie.
Yo, come here. I want to talk to you for a second.
They would shave each other's eyebrows and do things like that and take each other up. So it's like that type of thing that translated
Yeah.
well for me. And then all my friends were the same way. I felt like my friends were as close as, like when I got to the teams, I'm like, oh yeah, this is back home.
Yeah.
Same guys.
That's cool.
And then
Lot
to be
of
the folks,
camaraderie,
and the goofiness, and it's like, yeah, we give each other shit, but you know, or I might think whatever of you, but outside of our platoon, no one else can talk to you.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
He's
And the same
our
with my buddies.
retard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
The same with our group. We had our, you know, these are the knuckleheads that are always getting pushed down, whatever. But if someone else is doing it, it's a different story.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not okay.
We're going
Exactly.
to blows.
Yeah, good
Well,
camaraderie.
Yeah.
So why the fuck why was steel the hub? Is it the proximity? I know it's proximity to like the river and
Three rivers.
was there like where are the mines and like where are they mining all the ore and
So
or is it just the fact because the Great Lakes were there
are
and
you
they bring
asking me?
shit
Are you
in?
asking me to make shit up? Because I will.
I'm sure you learned about this shit
history.
in fucking school.
He spits out all the facts, and then he's like, get one layer deeper. He's like, well, first of all, fuck you.
Well, the facts I'm going to give you is my dad's what he gave me with his
Okay.
seventh grade education and
All right.
not able to read. But no, you got the
just like Kevin.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You got the three rivers that
And
come
I'm punch drunk too.
exactly. So three rivers come together there, and still to this day, the shipping of those rivers, you got barges that are going from Pittsburgh, Ohio, all the way down to Tennessee and moving goods back and forth. And I was surprised to find this out a couple years ago when I was doing my MBA. We were working these little internships, part of the program.
Dude,
And
you're
this-
in the NBA?
I was about to
I am.
say, you played basketball?
Fuck yeah.
Pretty good. I got some handles. But these companies are still struggling with the tides and how to move these barges. And, you know, like they miss a window a couple hours and it's like 2 weeks late. Just trying to move
Yeah,
stuff up those
all the
rivers.
locks and shit.
those, yeah, exactly. And a lot of people out here wouldn't know that. They have all these locks and dams they got to make to control the water to be able to get these large vessels through. And they're just way down with coal and iron ore and all that different stuff, moving it throughout the country. So back then, I'm thinking with how, and you know, you got the original 13 colonies, right, and how the rivers come together on that bank. You know, all of our cities, our major cities, were built around a major waterway, and a waterway that is kind of controlled by some type of landmass, so they can control that energy and do different
Kind of all
things.
just coalesced in that one spot.
Yeah, so that
Probably
was
just the right place
and there
for
was for whatever reason, there was some big money there, Rockefeller, Carnegie, and you know, Frick, and all these different people that were able to take in during those transitions from, you know, when you went from
gotta look up the map.
using kerosene, then moved over to electric, to just shifting to what they were doing, and then still became.
Dude, there's a great
big thing.
DVD series. Maybe I'm dating myself here, but it's like a 3 or 4 DVD series called "The Men Who Built America."
Love it.
Yeah.
They're
It's
on History
fucking
Channel.
phenomenal.
Good one.
They have the similar series of like Men of the Mob or something, or
really?
how they built the mob, and shows how the mob built, and all actually right in line with that stuff.
Really?
And how World War II, the shipping docks, and how they got freedom to pass, and it gave them the power they had.
Interesting.
Yeah, those History Channels
I'll have to check that
series
out.
are pretty awesome. Yeah, that's a
pretty
great one.
rad shit.
And then they show like them the dam flooding and killing all the people there in Pennsylvania, and that in the History Channel one you're talking about. Do you remember
Shit.
that episode?
It's been a while.
No, yeah, it's been like 10 years since I
I was
watched
gonna say
it.
it's been at least 10 years.
Yeah.
since
It was
I've seen that
good, though.
documentary, but I remember watching it.
Yeah, but a lot of interesting stuff. So you get back far enough in the day, there was quite a few uprisings and stuff with the workers, and then eventually got to where the steel mills, where they start getting big and trying to create areas where these folks can live. Still paying them shit, but that's what basically started. And I'd say after we get past World War II, we start as they're funneling out all the steel for everything that we're doing for the wars. And then you start getting into the 70s when we start getting steel from, Japan and other areas where it's a lot cheaper. That's when the steel mills start. It takes a little bit of time to start taking the hits.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people lost their asses, like folks that were, invested into the steel mills, were there for so long, not invested like financially.
I
but,
mean, their whole town's built around it.
Absolutely.
yeah, and then you got folks that weren't investing or anything and just counting on. They got paid good when they got, they worked, and then that stuff going away, and then being all let go and be like, well, you can come back, but your wages are this, and it's like starting over, and so that probably throughout the 80s, that's as I'm growing up dealing with that. Where my dad had a job that was like kick-ass good money, he just had to work hard to where it's like, oh shit, do I have a job?
Yeah.
But if I quit and go do something else, then I don't get these benefits. But if I stay, and he went as long as like 2 years without, where they lay you off, call you back, so they don't have to do like you reach a certain mark, they owe you a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
They call you back for whatever amount of days, lay you off again, and so that was tough during that period of time. So it was like, it was. We struggled quite a bit. So it'd be like making decisions. It wasn't making them, but
Not selling your ass.
Right.
Hand jobs for cash and shit.
But like not being able to pay for the lights. Or,
Yeah. How old were you when this was going on about that time?
Probably grade school, and then
okay.
grade
Just
school
pretty early.
to getting into middle school, where
Okay.
it was really a struggle, like financially for that,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of it's bad decisions too that they made. But early on, I'm like, okay, I gotta fucking figure some shit out because I
Yeah.
can't be wearing my brother's corduroys.
Hand-me-downs.
It's the fucking 80s, and I'm wearing 70s clothes, so I gotta make some money. So I start like hustling, making some money, and
like, Mom, I got a hole
unlike
in the
Kevin,
knee of my
hand jobs weren't part of it.
Mom, I got a hole in the knee of my pants. Like, oh, we'll just sew a fucking a patch over it.
Yeah. Yo, fuck yeah. That was the.
Yep.
That's what you did.
No
We
bare
used to
hand
go to
jobs, just
Goodwill.
OTPHJs. Over the pants,
So, go ahead. Jesus Christ. In stereo.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask, what? So you're going through this. What was the catalyst for joining the military? And then secondary to that, like, why the SEAL teams over like any other group?
Yeah. So I think since I was little, I knew I wanted to do something like that. I couldn't really put like what no one knew anything about SEALs then, and I knew I wanted to, subconsciously, it's like, I got to get the fuck out of here. But I was pretty sure I was going to go to the military. I think I knew that by, like high school. And then I pretty much got told that I have
Did
to
you
kinda
have
go do
did
that.
you have any like relatives or anything that were or older siblings?
Yeah. So I didn't really realize it or think of it. That didn't really. So I had an uncle, my dad's brother, did a few years in the Army, and my dad always talked about that highly.
Yeah.
My dad said he would have went, but he had a couple arrests that wouldn't allow him in. Yeah.
Holding
Yeah.
back
So,
there.
yeah.
A
But
civil altercation.
Things that may have been frowned upon.
yeah. My dad and his brother, they were both fighters. They and not just in the ring. They were just some of my earliest memories of my dad, who was 5'5", but I think much smaller. That was him with his some shoes
With his
some
lifts
heels.
on.
But he was earliest memories of seeing him throwing hands and mom having to pick him up, pull the car up, him jump in and drive away outside some bar. So
How tall are you now?
5'10".
Okay.
Yeah, he was like a a premium. He was the smallest kid born in 1940.
Wow.
He wasn't supposed to live.
Damn.
They actually took him home and used mason jars, our last name, with hot water in them as incubator at home. And he was
Wow.
inside a little cigar box.
God damn.
That's how small he was. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And he lived. Fucking fought since he showed up. Yeah.
That's
Dang.
Well, that's
Wild.
probably the reason why he was such a fighter.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
It was like,
man.
Yeah.
My dad's 5'5" but he wasn't ever in a cigar box.
Yeah, that's insane, man. It's like puppy size.
My dad he's the fish story guy, right? It's like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I caught the fish, and it's just like, oh, he's full of shit. And then you see the picture. In fact, actually, at his funeral, like that's a joke, right? That's the fish story, right? But he actually had a fish story, and then sure enough, we find this picture of him with this big ass fish, and so we had that at the funeral because he had so many of these stories that.
That's pretty cool.
Of course, he
You're like,
embellishes,
sure,
but
Dad.
yeah,
Yeah.
we call those Lenigisms.
yeah. Oh, Matt's, yeah, yeah. I missed that guy too. I haven't seen him in a while, but he would talk about his brother and in the military. He had an uncle that he would. I remember when he was younger, telling me, yeah, he fought in World War II and this, and I never really realized like what that uncle. So it was like his mom's. So it's like a second uncle, right? It's his mom's sister's husband, and this guy was amazing. He was like the guy with brains in the family. He'd like do everyone's bills because everyone's a fucking mess, and it's like, yeah, you got to pay these, like, or they'll shut this all off. Like he was that guy who'd come around to the different families in the family and let them and try to help them out. But I found more out about him later, so that didn't really encourage me to go. But I always had like this pull calling. But really, when I was in high school, I was planning to, because I wanted to jump out of planes. I was planning to be an Army Ranger.
That's cool.
And this was right about the time. So when it was time to graduate and all that, Desert Shield is happening first. And I had a couple arrests, and that might have had something to do with, they're like, you need to go in the military.
Get your
like,
shit together.
I had a judge once say, like, yeah, your probation officer said you are planning to go to the military. You got these people speaking on your behalf. They like wrote a bunch of stuff up to keep me out of a little bit of trouble. He's like, you need to make that happen, and I need to know that it's going to happen sooner. He's like, you're on this.
You're on thin ice, my boy.
Yeah. You're on this 6 months probation, this much community service, and then this goes away when you leave. So, but with that said, I was planning to go in Army Ranger, and they're like, we called back all of our waivers, so we can't take you.
Oh shit.
And so the Navy start calling me. I'm like, I'm not fucking going to Navy. And
Okay.
and then this
Wear these
guy,
bell bottoms and shit.
and I want to say
Floating
this
gay
guy's.
butt fuck prison. Like,
I want to say this guy's name so bad because he was my detailer.
Yeah.
And I remember it well. It was Daryl. We'll just say Daryl T. And I remember Daryl T called me. This is Daryl T, United States Navy. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to Navy. So what was you going to do? And I tell him, I'm like, I want to jump out of planes. He's like, we got those crazy motherfuckers too. And then he literally, I can hear him, like, I'm assuming he's holding the phone, like, what's those crazy motherfuckers called that jump out of planes? He's like, yeah, we got Navy SEALs. I was like, how do I do that? He's like, yeah, you just do it, man. We sign it up and fuck it. It's
real easy.
do it. Just fucking join, bro. Trust me.
So-
Just join. And
Like
you're,
Shia LaBeouf. Just do it.
So, but I still have to get waivers, and so now this thing's taken forever, and I forget about it, blah, 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 and then it pops back up, and then one day, after like a 2-day bender, I get this call from him, and I'm like not answering. He's like, "Hey, your thing come in, whatever," and my roommate let him in, and it's like the day to go down to MEPS, and it was actually my birthday, and we go down
surprise.
there, and
Hence the bender.
waiver comes in, and he's and he doesn't have any. Back then, there was no die fair program, so
Yeah.
you had no guarantee. So you had to pick one of the source ratings.
Yeah,
of course,
For
yeah.
folks watching it don't know, it's a rate is your job in the Navy, and you got to pick one of these ones that allow you. Really, what it is means they're overmanned, and that will allow you to go to
Yeah.
be a SEAL. They have nothing to do with being a SEAL, other than the one that's medical, which is the corpsman, and really that's it.
Yeah.
And so as we're he's like showing me this list because now he realizes like. Because first he told me, yeah, you could be a cook, you could do this. It's like, yeah, finding out like none of that's true unless you're Nick's. But
Yeah.
So we get
Fucking
there,
Whitey.
and he's going down the list of things, and it's just these letters. I don't know what they mean. I'm like, well, what's this HT? He's like, you're gonna be chasing turds all day. You want to do that? I'm like, fuck no. And then he's like, and I'm like, well, what's that? As I'm going down the list, and he's like, well, what's corpsman? He's like, that's a medic. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. He's like, you're gonna be looking at people's peckers. I'm like, fuck, man. Like, what are these jobs? Like, this guy's just,
You're really incentivizing this.
You'll be fingering people in the butthole, and he's like, sign me up.
yeah. And so he gets
Selling
to,
this.
and so there's not many, but the third one I looked at was MM, which is my initials. I'm like, well, what's this MM? He's like, well, that's what I do, a machinist mate. Yeah, that'll get you in shape for it. I'm like, oh, man, I feel like this fucker's lying.
Get you in shape for it.
And of course, he had no idea how to get there, anything to do, and fucking car salesman.
Yeah.
Lied his ass off. And literally, I'm just sitting there. I would have signed anything to just go back home. Because he drove me down there, biggest mistake. I'm
You're
just
all
like,
hungover and shit. You're like,
to say the least. And
this is at MEPS?
this is at MEPS,
Oh,
downtown
man.
Pittsburgh, with all these other knuckleheads. And
He's got you locked in, bro.
and so I do like a 20 or 30 day delay entry, and then I go in. But yeah, it's so that's what kind of got me to that point, and that was my plan. And then of course, come to find out, you have to then at some point in boot camp, you say, yeah, I want to do this, and you try out, take the test. I had no real preparation, so now I got like a couple weeks. It's like, all right, I should probably start running. And, it's like,
learn how to swim.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, well, I'm fucking land. It's Pittsburgh, man. Where am I? Yeah, it's a pool, one side to the other. Yeah, it's like, so really wasn't any, but I did, to that point, there was like I signed up for a gym by the house. It's when they just start blowing up all these gyms, the big, Bailey's and shit. And I start trying to swim
Bailey's.
there. And the only thing I was like, okay, I'll just do this. You know, I know how to do breaststroke. And 500 meters breaststroke when you're not a swimmer is like, that's a bit
Yeah,
much.
that's some rough shit.
Yeah.
But when I went to take the test, I was like the only one that didn't get out of
drown.
the water.
Yeah.
And I know I didn't pass. And the guy looked at me and he's like, you got to come back when you're in A school and take it again, because you do it in boot camp and then you do it in A school to make sure you still are able to pass it and whatever. And then you get orders. And I was going to be going to A school there too, but the guy's like, you really got to work on your swimming. Like, he made it clear that like that's when the time wasn't right. But and then when I got to A school, I went home. Well, I think it was like 4th of July weekend.
Where'd you go to A school? Great Lakes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everything was in the same place.
Yep.
I go
Right
home on a
across the street.
weekend, get in a car accident, break my hand.
Right on.
Jeez.
Right on.
So
Solid.
timing's coming up. I'm going to have to pick orders.
Car accident.
Yeah.
Oh,
Masturbating accident.
Like, wow, looks like a boxer's fracture.
and so now I'm like cutting my cast off, trying to take the test, because I know if I don't take the test by a certain time, I'm going to have to go to the fleet. And that just didn't work out. And then I actually had like a makeshift captain's mask, because apparently you can't take the
your
cast
cast
off,
off.
and
Yeah.
like some goofy
Oh my
military
God.
shit that's like, it's not, this is property of the Navy, whatever.
Your property, yeah.
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 It was like pretend. They had me in front of someone at the A school and whatever.
But it's like an E5.
We're going to put the fear of God in this guy.
Yeah. So now everyone was supposed to be picking orders but me. And so I have to go into the proctor and be like, hey, you got to throw me back in this list. And depending on this test tomorrow, I'll have the highest, and I get first pick of orders. And he was like not having bullshit.
Fucking livid.
And he was
Oh,
like,
you're talking about out of A school because
A
you
school.
excelled.
Yeah,
in A
because
school,
I was supposed to be not in with everyone else. And now that I am, I'm like, fuck, I got to find a ship
Yeah.
that's going to be, and I'm trying to figure out where SEAL training is. That's where the ship's got to be. And I'm,
So you didn't like look up any of this stuff before, or no, like.
How do you even
Well,
do that, though?
no
Movies or
Google
books? I mean,
at
it's
the
fucking-
time. You
dude,
know?
You
it's
gotta go to a
19
fucking library?
This is
Like,
like
there.
the early 90s,
well, you can only
know?
you can only count on the. So I
on the
had
Dewey Decimal System.
so I had a guy tell me, oh, it's they're in Seal Beach. That's what he told me. That's where SEAL training is.
That's
I'm
where- it makes sense.
That sounds like
Yeah.
too much of a fucking coincidence.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
wait, that's what it's. Wait, it was named that
you
before,
sure?
or they changed it because of there? He was like, no, that's where they're at. I'm like, this guy's a fucking
sure,
idiot.
yeah.
So all I knew, to your point, was everyone that I've talked to at this point was a fucking idiot. That's all what I knew. That I'm going to have to find this out myself.
I just don't know.
So, like, in a week and a half, I became an expert on fucking ships, decommission, all this different stuff. So I had a list of the boats that we were going to be able to pick from that were decomming.
Yeah.
And that were in San Diego or close to. And so I understood, like, they're going to have to give me orders again. This is what. So I had it all figured out. I then talked. I got my class together. I'm like, hey, here's the deal. Do you guys mind? Or you guys this? We'll swap this. And everyone's fine with it. This instructor's still trying to be a dick. Class is like, no, we're fine with him, picking. So he wasn't happy with that.
Well, and that's a weird thing too. Like, I don't know if a lot of our listeners know like that process, but because when I was in same shit, I was in Great Lakes for Gunner's Mate, but there was like me and like 2 other guys. Yeah, there were like 3 of us total, and we were in that dive fair program, but we still had to pick an A school, and if you pass all your tests, you get guaranteed to go to the next block. But we weren't, and I mean, dude, honestly, we used to fucking kind of cheat our fucking asses off, like, to pass some of these fucked up tests. Because I mean, dude, it's like 6 months of hydraulics and pneumatics and fucking weapon systems and like
what was your rate?
Water Gunner's Mate, like fucking magazine sprinklers and valves and knobs and bullshit. And when we started getting towards the end of A school, that's when dudes start jockeying. They're like, oh fuck, like we're gonna have to, where you're at in the class is how you pick orders.
Yeah.
And we were kind of overlooked because they were like, well, fuck it. We're not competing with those guys because we automatically were like, okay, you growing a buds. Which I can see, and it would be the same thing. Like if one of us just didn't pass the fucking test, because you got to pass it within a certain amount of time of getting ordered, like 30 days or 60 days prior or some shit.
Oh, you're talking about the PT test to go to buds.
The PT test, yeah. Like if you were actually fail that shit, they would be like, well,
good luck, son.
You're back in the pool. Like, I can only imagine what any of those dudes that I was cheating off of in fucking class, and now all of a sudden I'm like ahead of these guys picking order. They'd be like, "Oh, you fucking asshole!" You fucking prick.
To that point, and because I'm a man that prides myself in knowing things, so
and not cheating.
No,
just kidding.
Didn't say that.
I definitely cheated.
But I understood that. Ryan, this chick here really wanted to go to the USS, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
And he really wanted to go to the Reagan and blah, blah, blah. And she could be close to where her husband, and I understood that and that they weren't going to be able to get it. So I threw a party. And then I talked to everyone about this. I'm like, hey, you guys can work this. They don't have control of this. They're acting like they do.
Right.
This dude's been in for a minute and he's acting like he's in charge of us. This is what we're going to do. Go in. If you guys are good with it, I just want one of these 3. And one guy had, at the time it was the USS Reasoner. I was like, if I take the Reasoner and she lets you take the whatever the fuck,
So
the
you're
Reagan.
organizing all the swap.
Yeah. So I just went in and then just basically, I unionized us that week. And then we went back in and then I told the guy and he was like, you think everyone in here? I'm like, yeah, they're good with it.
And we talked about it.
And we made it work. So,
awesome.
That's fucking funny.
Did you guys serve with a guy named Brian? I think it was Brian, but Mikna?
Mikna?
Yeah, Mikna. He was a tri-pin. So he was a civilian instructor of mine at EOD school. And of course, back in the 80s, like you said, nobody knows fuck all about it.
What's a fucking tri-pin?
What's the third one?
I'll tell you, a diver. So he was, he called whatever the fuck. I mean,
but I thought all EOD guys were second class
it's different.
divers.
Like technically, right. But it's like he actually went through the dive pipeline.
Oh, he went through that first and then went EOD.
So he was like, I want to work with the dolphins. Yeah. and they were like, oh, yeah, you got divers do that. So he's like, okay. So he goes in, he becomes an ND or a hull tech and with a diver pin, whatever.
Tri-pin. I didn't know it was a thing.
I didn't either. Yeah. So he's like, yeah.
It's like trisexual.
Exactly. Precisely. So he becomes a diver and they're like, I want to work with dolphins. I'm like, the SEALs do that. Right. And he's like, oh, okay, well, I'll go do that then. So then he goes through the SEAL pipeline. He gets his fucking pen. He shows up to his duty station. He's like, yeah, so where are the dolphins at? And they're like, that's EOD, man. And he's like, God
Damn it.
Yeah. So he's like a team guy for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, whatever. And then he goes to be an EOD tech, and that's how he finished out his fucking
keeps
career.
getting bum gouged, dude.
Yeah, and so he went through every one of these pipelines separately.
That's
Did he ever
fucking
get to his
crazy.
Dolphins?
He did.
Okay.
He did. He finally ended up working with the Dolphins in San Diego. He like did the whole training where they find mines and harbor defense, and he ended up like it was like his dream job. He finally did it, but it took him like 10 years to get there.
Yeah.
Really
well,
like
in the
dolphins.
90s, divers, EOD, and SEALs did it. There's nothing to do.
Well,
it was
they had
right across the
that
street.
Command,
yeah.
that
Yeah.
VSW MC, very shallow water mine counter
Yeah, VSW.
MCM.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
Mobile Unit 1
Yeah.
over on Point Loma.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I guess at the time, because I guess he had like showed up to an East Coast thing, and they were just like,
Yeah.
"Man, what the fuck
Well,
are you
with
talking
any of these things, they go away and come back. Like he just mentioned, the Die Fair program. Like there was something like that not long before I came in
Yeah.
that went away.
Yeah.
And then it came back in like 93 or 94, and then it went away. Like those things are,
Yeah.
it's just a hit
They
or
come and
miss.
go.
It's all the Manning shit.
Yeah.
Like people
Yeah.
are like,
It's crazy,
we
dude.
need more team guys. So like, well, dive fair program,
Well,
and then
there was a time when you had team guys going through a portion of EOD school to learn about ordnance, like conventional ordnance,
Yeah.
stuff like that too.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So they didn't come out with like a crab or anything, but they came out with like a certification for conventional
Well,
ordnance and stuff like that.
Because at the beginning we were one, right? And so as probably as it broke off, I imagine, and maybe later too as new technology. But
Yeah.
I mean we're all. I mean,
All from UDT,
Don't we
from
still
Kaufman.
is like Kaufman's everyone's like daddy, and
Yep.
you guys claim him, we claim him.
Yeah. It was all UDT back in the day, and then there was like 70s, 80s that started to make the official split.
Yeah.
And then EOD became EOD, and then the teams became the teams, and then you had different rates for them, but or different pipelines, I should say.
I can wrap up the because it gets even better on me trying to get the butts.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
So
shit.
I get to the USS Vancouver as a machinist mate, E-nothing, and boy, that sucked. And,
MMFN.
so I'm down in the engine room, and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to go to, and they're like, why would you want to do that? Like, I was like, because I don't want to do this. The guy's like
Right.
staring at a gauge for 8 hours. And
I
I'm
don't
just
wanna
like,
be here.
And so I'm
I
trying to
want
do
to see the
push-ups.
sun.
Just chain smoking in the engine room. Everyone's just smoking, and it's just like, and because we're going to decom now, they have to like. They end up primering and painting everything, and there's no mask or anything.
super
It's like-
fun.
So my job is to like
Jesus.
a bunch of these rags just in the bilge, just moving, inchworming, sucking up all the oil and stuff that's left over that wasn't sucked out. Someone chips the paint, I have to paint it down there. So I'm just breathing in all this fucking. It's just horrible.
Perfect.
But
Explains
it's
a lot.
But I'm like exactly. But it's like it's fine because to put in a package. No one knows how to do that when you're in, right? And they barely know how to do that now. So they're like, yeah, you got to find a dive medical officer. So I'm having to take a bus from 32nd Street to Point Loma, get someone to sign off on whatever, go do all this stuff. It takes months, and then you got to mail it. I'm like putting stamps on the thing, fucking mailing it off
that's right.
to somewhere, Bupers and whatever.
Hope
3
they
months
get it.
later, waiting for the answer to come back. And at that time, we're picking orders. And I guess myself and a couple other people on that ship were the only ones that didn't have orders. And the command master chief's like, hey, we got to get these kids orders somewhere. And we get called up to his office. And dude's like, hey, you guys didn't have orders, but don't worry, I took care of you. You're going to blah, blah, blah. You're going to, and he tells me I'm going to whatever ship. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I just fucking, because it just, I can't hold it in. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, man? I'm going to bus. He's like, kicks everyone else out of the office. He's like going off on me. I'm like, I'm not hearing a thing you're saying. I got a fucking pack. And I'm like, just like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, how do you not know this? Do you talk to your career?
Yeah.
And the dude's just like pissed. So I'm like putting quarters in the.
He's like, who's the career counselor?
Putting quarters in the payphone.
ECM, goddammit. Fuck
Putting
you.
like 10 quarters in a payphone. Finally, I get this guy, and I tell him, hey, I'm going to. He's like, no, you're going to this, and then somehow that gets. Now I'm going to USS Acadia.
Oh my
and
God.
I'm pissed.
Damn.
And,
Fuming. Yeah.
and I'm going to go there, and they're already on deployment, so I'm going to have to fly out. I'm like, I'm supposed to be on. And what I do remember, and whether it happened in this phone call, because I called this fucker a few times, is that. I was like, okay, because I got another package. Like, they sent me a package. I eventually got the thing back saying NSW accepted me, whatever it was called, however it was came then. But my detailer wasn't going to release me, and that.
Oh,
and then
like
when I
a
talked,
Buper's message or some
yeah.
bullshit.
And then when I talked to him, he's like, hey, you give me 4 good years as an outstanding sailor. I'm like, I'm not going to 4 years. And then
off.
and I was like,
Your
I don't.
re-enlistment, you can maybe get.
I already started my a second package and blah blah blah. He's like, and somewhere along the line, I don't remember if it was this phone call. He's like, look, man, you can keep putting these packages in and being a pain in the ass, but I'm telling you, and all I heard was pain in the ass. And I'm like, in my mind, I was like, okay, this guy either he can't say no. He has to get someone else to say no.
Right.
And if he can, it's work for him to say no.
Right.
So we're going to find out if he's willing to work harder than I am to go to say no. And when I say this all the time, and I tell the story. Exactly. See how you're going to work on my package. But when I tell the story, it's just like, you know, he was a worthy adversary. He was a nice speed bump. It didn't take 4 years. It took me 2.5. Every 3 months I put another package, and it was 7 packages total that I had to put in.
Jesus.
And I kept putting them in, and then it just and then like every time there'd be another reason. Now I'm on the
imagine this
Acadia,
guy's face when he gets it's like this motherfucker again.
and then I'm on the phone with him. He's like, and now I'm on the Acadia. I come back from the point. He's like, well, he says something along the lines of like, no, they don't have enough machinist mates. I'm like, I'm a fucking E3 machinist mate. And so then I'm becoming like the smartest Navy guy, because it's like, oh, there's an alpha roster. It says exactly how many you should have for each rate. So I find this thing, and we're like 10 overmanned. Like, you know what I mean? And then I call him. He's like, well, if you could get your commanding officer. I'm like, well, I kind of know the guy. Just went to captain's mast. I'll request another one. So it's like,
we're tight, man.
Yeah. So I
told him to go fuck himself last week.
So now I'm requesting captain's mast, and the CO's like, oh, it's you again, Fireman Mason. I'm like, hey, here's the thing, sir, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, yeah, and they're like, get back at attention, you know, like, and so I'm explaining. He's like, yeah, no problem, signs it. So this guy's just, I fucking.
He's like, get this motherfucker off my ship.
Long and short, I wear him down. I fucking, so it's like, okay, I'm going to put this package in, and I'm at the point where I realize, like, I think the medical, something weird, like, is only good for 6 months. Maybe it's actually the physical part and like the dive signature. And I think it's Labor Day weekend or one of those weekends, September time frame. Yeah, I think it's Labor Day weekend. Big party at my buddy's house right behind Lahaina's. And for whatever reason, I thought I could do a handstand on a balcony on a banister, and I can't do it on land with someone holding my feet. But that night it seemed like a good idea, and didn't work out. Fall off, land on a car, legs like I totally like scorpion, feet
caved this car.
And
Scorpion.
buddies did the right thing, dragged me back up the steps whenever you have a neck or back injury, because that's what you're supposed to do.
So you can try it again.
And they called the paramedics, and the paramedics are there, and you know, anyways. So now I got like a bruised spine, and then realized like, holy shit, I got to take the test because it's expired. So I have to take the physical for buds, the run, swim, and it's the worst. You know, it's a few weeks after, and it's like days before we deploy. So I take the test. It's the worst one I've done, but I still pass it.
Where'd you have to take the test at? Did you actually have to go over to Bud's, or did you just do it at the pool?
They
at,
had
like,
places
Point Loma or
where,
some shit?
like, you called whoever. They had one at the Naval Hospital or 32nd Street. There was some representative that it was a SEAL, and he had some other SEALs with him, and you went and took this test. And so I went and took the test, no big deal. But now I have to get a signature, and it's like, holy shit, this is last minute. It's like a Thursday, and I think we're deploying on Sunday. And so I'm trying to find phone numbers, and someone gives me a phone number to Bud's, and hey, you could just call their medical, whatever. So I call the quarterback. I'm like, hey, I need to talk to medical, blah, blah, blah. And the kid transfers me. And the person answers, oh, I didn't realize he was like, CO. They transfer me to fucking commanding officer.
Gotcha, bitch.
Yes, bro. Hey,
yeah. And I'm like, hey, sir. I just assume it's this JG medical officer, because I need a DMO signature. So I'm like, hey, sir, I need to get this signature at deploy. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I'm like, I fucking need to. I'm like, I might not have said fuck, but I'm like going off on this guy. Like, let's make it snappy. He's like, what the? And he's like, swears. And he's like, why? And I was like, yeah, well, I need this. I'm deploying. He's like, well, why the hell are you calling me? I'm like, because I'm deployed. And I'm like, being a real dick.
Listen, stupid fuck.
Yeah. And then he tells me,
down, fuckface. Like I said, I'm deploying.
Did I mention I had no military bearings still all the way up to the end? Yeah. So he must have had some sympathy or empathy for me. And he's like, this is the commanding officer. I'm like, oh, shit. Your quarterdeck patched me up. He's like, yeah, I'll take care of that. He's like, be here in 20 minutes. I'm like, what do I need to be? 20 minutes. And he just hangs up. So now I'm in front of I've never seen Buds or whatever. Probably should have found out a little bit more about the program. Now I'm in front of the front doors there at Buds, and there's this guy out there in civilian clothes. He's like, are you Mason? He must be the DMO, and he just doesn't. He just signs, and I go, fuck off. Yeah. Every other time I put a package in, it took almost 3 months. Now maybe this is now we're at 1993, and maybe things are moving. There is, like, I think little bit of internet shit going on, or at least some people have it. By the time we get to Hawaii, and we're going to leave Hawaii, you get a few days at a party, whatever. So that's like a 6-day steam on the boat, party in a few days, and now we're leaving. And the career counselor tells me, she's like, "Hey, your orders came in," and I just assume I got fucking orders to another ship again. I'm like, "Oh, this is it. I'm out." And she tells me I got orders to Buds, and I fucking couldn't believe it. But when I look back now,
You're like, "What's Buds?"
Yeah,
Now I got to start working out.
that phone call probably helped things happen because in
No doubt
6
about
days,
it. Yeah,
and
he was like, he's fucking getting it done. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
And then, of course, I show up there, and before I met this guy, I think, break my foot in 3 places.
Yeah, well, dude,
Warrant animal fell on my foot, rock portage. Warren.
was that in 198?
It's 198.
Yeah, because I remember
Before Hell Week. Yeah,
we
my
went
foot
through
was
Hell
broke.
Week
Yeah.
together 198, and then
My foot was broke 2 weeks before.
yeah,
Hell
dude, I
Week.
just remember during like walking week, the week after Hell Week, and dude, they don't make you run everywhere. You still get to fucking walk, but dude, the way this motherfucker was, he's like walking like fucking like some
Quasimodo
fucked up
shit,
Quasimodo
yeah.
shit, and then by the time we get to like hydro weeks, we're back to running and doing all this shit. And I mean, dude, this dude's like dragging. I can't remember if it was your right leg or your left leg, but you're basically like dragging one of your fucking legs, and like they were just
They always think you're faking. So I kind of skipped it, but in first phase I was 196, and probably because I fell off that balcony. I had found out that I had is week 4, week 5. It's right before Hell Week, and my leg, like something crazy is going on with my left hip, and I have a femoral neck stress fracture. Nice. So it's a big deal, I guess, because it's so close to femoral artery, blah blah blah, and there's like another fracture, femur, and so they tell me I'm dropped. Like they call me in the first phase office. They're like, "Hey, you don't heal from this injury. You're probably going to need pins. You can come back if you do in a couple years." And I'm in the office with like Sneezy, Rewords, and a bunch of the folks that are first phase. And they tell me I'm dropped, and I must have had one of my normal Pittsburgh size. Or they're like, "What did you say?" And I was like, "No, what were you going to say? Say it." And I was like, "I'm just not hearing you. All I know is I'm leaving." And then they're like giving me shit. And then Rewords was like, "No." He stopped everyone. He's like, "Say it again. Like, what were you thinking?" I was like, "Sir," I was like, "Warrant, the only way I'm leaving here is through your front door with diploma in hand, and you can't come back. It took me this long to get here, so I think that's bullshit, and yeah, I'm not leaving." I was like, "I know I don't really get a say in this," and then he kicked me out of his office.
Respectfully, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. So I'm sitting in the room,
You
and
just
then
say whatever you want because you said respectfully.
yeah, I'm sitting in the room, first phase, and he calls me back in. It's just him in there, and he throws me this book. It's I think his name was like Scott Tinsley or Tinsdale, Iron Man, and he had same injury.
No shit.
And it's like some like water thing to do, and he's like, "Hey, fucking do this." He's like, "It's not going to work out." He's like, "You're not going to make it through, and if you do, it's going to be miserable." And he was right; it was fucking miserable. But it's like, so now the next class, I make it through, break the foot, and I get through Hell Week, and we're in that, fucking the marching around. And he's like, now you could see he's like, this fucker's faking. And I remember that crushed me because this guy gave me a chance, and now and so it's like the last day of first phase.
Was this Rewords?
Rewords.
Yeah, Rewords.
And he was just because we had a lot of people that were hurt, and there was a lot of fucking people milking it, like guys with double things. We won't say names, but the one dude had the double leg. I got double ITB. Like, you fucking just goofy shit. And so Rewords was giving me shit about it, and I'm like, fuck, my foot's done. It's just like dead. And the last day, one of the guys was like, "You got to go to sent me to Balboa."
This is in Hell Week, right?
No, this is
The week after.
when we're doing cartoon. It's the last day of first phase.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we're actually checking
like
in.
week 9 or something.
Yeah, we're checking into die phase that day, and then we break for Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make it to Christmas break. I'm like, if I could just make it Christmas
And
break, I
that
check
cutoff
into die
period
phase.
to the next phase.
Yes.
You don't want to go back.
Yeah, because you don't want to go backwards. So they send me to Balboa. I come back with a cast up past my knee. Reward sees me. He's like, "Is that what?" And you can see he feels bad now. He's like, "Just go enjoy or whatever." And I'm
Told
like,
you, motherfucker.
And so I'm like, wait a second. I still have everything to go check in to die phase. I'm like, I'm going to fucking try to make this happen.
So you just sent it? Yeah.
So I go over to die phase. Everyone's already
Genius.
gone for the fucking.
Genius.
Everyone's already gone
Just
for
slide your
Christmas break.
papers in
It's like
there.
December 16th, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I go in there and remember, we're not gonna say the name, Mule Dung, but we won't say the person's name.
Yeah.
But we had this instructor, dive face instructor, who's like fucking. He's at his desk, like, "Whoa, the fuck you!" I let my crutches outside. I come in like, "Hey, I'm just coming back." He's like, "Drop down." I drop down and. 30, 50, and you're acting like I'm doing push-ups. I get up and I'm like, "Hey, I'm just checking in. Drop down. Why are you fucking late?" I'm sorry, because I fucked up, instructor. And then he signs it.
Booyah.
I mean, he did everything. Everything was done. Otherwise, I would have had to start back day after and done those 3 weeks. So I got the, and then I had 2 weeks to heal up. But it really, by the time I got out of the cast and everything, it was so much atrophy, getting the die phase, and I'm like, the slowest guy, and then next thing I know, I'm running like 25-minute miles. Like, "You've been sandbagging us." Like, you're just trying
He's still beating me.
Yeah. But anyways, so that was my journey just to get there and get through. So it's just like quite the fight.
Damn, no
7
shit.
packages to get there. Everyone telling you no, but it's probably the best thing that happened because I really wasn't. I was probably prepared mentally, but I wasn't prepared physically. And having that jackass tell me like, "Yeah, I'm not going to let you go," or turning those things down.
That just piss you off.
Those are the things that.
This is a huge pain in the ass. Like, oh, wait a
Truthfully,
minute.
at that point in my life, I needed that to succeed at anything.
Yeah,
I
man.
needed someone to fucking tell me no. That seemed to be the only thing that would motivate
Negative
me.
motivation is
Yeah.
super good motivation. I don't go to the gym and
Yep.
think, "Man, I'm really happy today." You know what I mean? Like, my relationship's going great. You go to the gym, you're all pissed off, you're all single, mad. Like, those are the best lifts, dude.
Yeah.
Girlfriend breaks up with you. "I'm fucking squatting 500 today."
Yeah.
There's a lot to be said for
crazy.
that,
Your
man.
back hurts. You want to lift it.
Oh, fuck, man. Yeah, there's a lot to be said too for like just being an advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
just taking the risk.
Yeah. And I
making the
mean,
calls.
honestly, same shit with me. Like I mean, the good thing is going through all that bullshit to get to Buds and having everybody say, "Nope, there's no way you're going to fucking make it," and shit like that. But I mean, I could not imagine having to go through the fucking ass pain of having to fucking submit multiple packages over and over and over, and
Most people
having
wouldn't.
everybody and just all the roadblocks. And I mean, and that was at a time too when, now everything's digital. They file the shit, and you literally hear back in weeks.
Yep.
But I mean, having to submit a fucking package of shit, which is like a goddamn half a Bible.
And no one knew what you
It's a
needed.
lot.
So you just everything was just overkill of stuff. Like, they probably need to know that you don't have, and you're like getting all these extra shots.
There's no internet to tell you either.
Yeah.
So you were one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So on that same ship was Ralph Johnson and Ty Volcanis. I don't know if you remember
I think
Ralphie
I
and
know,
Ty.
yeah.
So Team One guys in the 90s. Ralph went on to back east, and then he got bounced around some teams.
I
West
checked
Coast.
in late '98, so it might have been a little after. Yeah.
Yeah, he probably would have just been leaving. He was like they were all Priscilla, Taco, all those guys. They were all one group. So those guys were on the Acadia trying to get back to Buds. Ty tore his ACL when he was there. Ralph had, I think, some family stuff and got hurt, and he left. So they were fighting to get back. So when I got there, I met those guys, and they actually had a plan, a routine, workout, and knew stuff about the place. And so for that reason, that was very helpful, and it really helped the motivation, helped me understand what I needed to do and what to need to build to. So that was huge.
Yeah, people don't understand how they think Buds is hard, and it is hard, obviously. But holy shit, man, luck plays a huge part in that. Just putting your foot in the wrong spot and getting broken, getting your neck twisted the wrong way with a boat on your head. Somebody pushing you, jockeying you, and you have knee problems. There's a lot that goes wrong.
And to that point, the adversity and perseverance through shit that you're not used to is different for everyone, right? I was quite impressed, how miserable they made it. I was like, they're pretty good at this. But I also, in my weird mind, it was like, yeah, I kind of deserve this. It was kind of like a penance. I forgot that.
Masochist.
Yeah, I forgot that I had an option to quit.
Yeah.
Or it's like, but you got your star athletes that never been hurt, or someone that never had this, and not realize everyone there, you're going to be in pain. You're going to deal with this. I remember in third phase, we had a particular guy that was flipping out, we're going to get hammered. Yeah, man, it's fucking Buds.
Yeah, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Shut up.
People would always be like, "Don't do that. Instructor's going to beat us." First of all, dude, they're going to fucking beat us anyways.
Yeah.
It's not like they need a reason.
It's going to happen, dude.
That was the shit that always used to get me. Whenever I wound up as an instructor at a third phase, and I would have, which I did the same shit whenever I was a student. I'm like, well, I'm going to hit the showers instead of hitting the surf.
Yeah.
It's like if you just resort and accept the fact
Yeah.
that you're going to be wet, cold, wet, and sandy for fucking 6 fucking months. And when you go to the island, it's like you're going to be cold, wet, and sandy for the whole fucking time you're out there. Like, it doesn't matter. And it's not like, oh, you're going to get beat.
You're not
Like,
getting
we're
out of it,
getting
dude.
beat
not
from
getting out of
fucking sun up to sundown. So it doesn't
So
fucking
the
matter.
corners you cut should be more so to your benefit. For instance, we have a room inspection. Yo, you fell. Get downstairs. Hit the surf. You close the door. You lock it. You get out of your starch clothes, put on your shitty ones. There's no reason to be in a hurry. We're going to hurry. They're going to be us. No, that's already happening.
Yeah.
Right? Now you go downstairs and you destroy the ones, right? And hey, take this knife off. Oh, I happen to have 3. Here's an old one for you.
Right.
Because I was rolled back. So I was fucking Hogan and Hogan's Heroes. You know, I was like, I
Be
knew the
fucking
rules.
smart about
They
it.
used to come to me after being rolled back for so long. They're like, hey, how do we get the lights off? I'm like, you tape the flashlight on the sensor on top of here. This is like, literally, I had to draw a diagram for one of the instructors on how to get the lights off for Hell
shit.
Week. Yeah. So
so
like,
fucking funny,
you know, I
dude.
had extra helmets. Like, it's like,
Oh,
you
you
know,
have to.
So this guy
Yeah.
that just quit, there's,
You want to be in charge of the extra gear bag. You're
Yeah.
Like, oh, extra
Yeah.
gear bag. Oh,
Yeah.
like, shit,
Yeah.
I forgot my fins today. Like,
I can remember. I forget the guy's name in our class. He's like, "Man, I'm in a room with these 3 idiots. They're all going to quit." I'm like, "Here's the bright side. They're going to have some extra gear.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just don't get attached to them.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
I'll take care of this, man. Just go be with your family. I'll get your gear turned in." You know,
Yeah.
like, it's like,
Dude, that was
yeah.
the weird thing about Buds, though, man. You see these dudes that were almost. It's almost worse to be a really good athlete because I feel like a lot of the dudes who were
Yeah.
star athletes were not prepared. They're so used to getting.
Accolades. Yeah.
Yeah, they're so used to finding success and being top of the line without really having to work that hard.
Yeah.
So and Buds will take everybody
Yep.
to their limit. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter
Yep.
where it is.
Well, dude, there were 2 dudes like that in our class. I remember in 198, and dude, those were the 2 cats.
And you had some instructors kissing their ass too. Like they fucking love those
well,
dudes.
they had been on
But
like the SISM team, so they did like the triathlons and all
Before
the-
they even came to-
before they
yeah.
even showed up to Buds.
Yeah.
But I just remember at one point, our whole fucking class, they sent the whole class to the fucking surf. You know, we're on the grinder doing PT. You got 2 fucking minutes, blah blah blah. And I mean, we've been doing this the whole fucking time. And of course, the two guys that are back first were those 2 guys, and they come running back, and they may probably make their fucking 2 minutes. Whereas the OIC was smart and was like, "Hey, we're holding everybody, and we're all gonna run back as a class."
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're gonna see, hey, we're bonding, we're
Yeah.
melding ourselves into this class. And so we run
Which is
back
really
in
what the instructors
because
wanna
you
say
know when you
anyway.
run in, you'd have to do like 198, 98, fire it up, fire it, blah, blah, you know, all the bullshit. And you run into the grinder. So we did that as a class, and we run in.
Which usually doesn't happen when you're getting beaten, but the fact that we did that, it's like, oh, they're still like
Yeah.
forming together and doing this. Yeah.
So then you see the instructors, and they're like, "Oh, okay, these motherfuckers, they're kind of playing the game." But then they look at these 2 fucking shitheads.
Yeah.
They go, "How come you 2 motherfuckers aren't part of your class?"
Oh yeah.
And now they're just like,
they're trying to shine.
well, instructor so you said be back in 2 minutes, and they're like,
still,
okay,
still,
motherfuckers.
still Pierre got those dudes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They did.
We had this one dude. His name's Arthur. He was a good dude. He was a black guy, but he was a really good fucking swimmer. He was in like
I don't believe you.
Hawaii,
Stop
but he was
lying.
fucking jacked, dude. He's a jacked dude, super athletic, like just fucking didn't look like a triathlete, looked like a fucking wrestler, and phenomenal swimmer. He was such a good swimmer that the instructors had him teach us
Yep.
swimming. Or maybe I realize now maybe they're just lazy or hungover and they don't want to do it.
He's good.
This guy's really good. Okay, just
Listen
go
to
up there and-
But he was really good, and he was in like the Hawaiian Ironman, which is like, from my understanding, like invite only, so you have to be top level.
Yeah, yeah.
He was a top level, like professional triathlete.
yeah.
Dude, he didn't even make it to Hell Week. He quit before Hell Week because like he's just not used to. He's such a natural athlete that he wasn't used to getting pushed beyond his comfortable level.
Yep.
And when he got pushed beyond that, he's like,
That's what I was gonna say.
no.
Like, there's guys like the fastest runner in our class was out Like when you show up, he's getting accolades. The
Yep.
instructors are like, oh, they love this guy. Oh, he can do all the pull-ups and the push-ups and the
Yeah.
running. But then they already know where their limit is, and as soon as they feel like they're reaching their limit, they're like, oh, dude, fuck.
Because they're
this.
not
I'm
used to
doing
going.
it.
They're used to beating
I'm gonna
everybody.
Get hurt. I'm gonna this.
Well,
that.
they're used to beating everybody and not having to go past their limits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we were, doing our fucking version, all that dumb shit. And this kid, he was used to running, 6-minute miles and under consistently. And so we did like a 4 mile and, then I got in the pool and did all that stupid shit that I talked about last time where you're like treading water with a buckshot in your tank and the weight belt and everything.
Yeah.
And then you get back out of the pool and then you're
Yep.
running another 4 miles and you're coming back. And towards the end of the day, he's like, he's in the back of the pack now. Because
Yep.
everybody else is like, I don't know my limit. I'm just fucking retarded. I'm just going to
Yeah.
keep going. Right? But he put out way too much too. He didn't
Yeah.
realize how long the day was going to be or
Yeah.
the days, right? So he was like putting
Well,
out 100% the entire time.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, he's in the back and he got in his own head and he fucking quit. He's like, okay.
Well, and that's kind of to your point too. Like, if you're constantly ahead of everybody, and you're never, you recover well, you never
Right.
are in pain, you're never hurt, you're never injured, you're never going through all this bullshit. First time you fuck something up,
experience
and
that.
now all of a sudden it's like, dude, you're in your head.
Yep.
Like worse.
Can I
and,
do this? Can
Like,
I make
holy
it?
shit,
Yeah.
man, I'm really fucked up. Like, I better go get myself checked out, or I better take it easy. And dude, once the
Spiral,
instructors see
man.
that shit, the instructors are like,
So in your
sharks.
case, being the guy in the back, it's
Yeah.
just like, hey, there's just room for improvement.
yeah, yeah, no shit.
It was just
All the way up
positive.
from here, baby
Yeah.
girl. Let's go.
Yeah. They're like, yeah,
you know,
man.
the dilemmas they had, and especially probably when you guys were instructors, was like, because we start moving into this, everything's got to be black and white, which is not a world we live in.
Wow.
There's no black and white decisions when you're entering a room and whatever. There's not. You always go, but you set a base and you try to build from there and then be able to adjust to things on the fly that make the most tactical sense or the most efficient, most effective. But when they were talking about to where they did have a point is like, well, what is butts? Like, is it about how tough you, or is it about perseverance? Do we expect people to come here and already know that? Or should we at least try to teach them that?
Yeah.
So that is one thing to where it's like at least talking through it and whatever. It doesn't mean it be like, hey, our job here is to find out what you don't like and make it miserable, whether it be the cold, whether it be the runs, the sand, whatever it is. Like, what's that fell point, and are you going to go pass through it?
I don't like the runs.
Really?
You didn't like running.
No, I didn't like
Or
getting
swimming.
the runs.
Oh, wow.
or getting the runs, yeah. But so that is a point of it. But and for those folks, even no matter how much you talk about that, getting there and not understanding that, it's like, I have to assume this is going to suck. Not that I thought that way, but I kind of grew up in an environment that was fine. I was fine being that. Like, sure, yell at me. I mean, that's my dad. Like, turn off the fucking lights. Like, that's that's like how you woke
Tuesday.
up. It's like, so what? Like, what's the big deal? And it's funny as hell when it's happening to someone else swinging at once. That's great.
You want someone else to get their shit
Well,
pushed
you're
in.
just hearing because the comedy is just amazing. You're like, you dumb, and you're just like laughing.
I
It's like-
remember going through boot camp and selection, just being like, I even asked, I was like, did you guys go to like a fucking comedy school? Because this is some of the funny shit. I've ever heard. Like, is there like a stand-up course?
Yeah.
And they're like, shut the fuck up and drop. And I'm like, I'm serious, man.
Some
Like,
of
you
them
guys
are
are funny.
hilarious,
Some of the
bro.
shit y'all say is out of this fucking
Dude.
Yeah.
world funny, dude.
Remember instructor Eshelman? Was he? I was 219 in 90. Graduated in 98, so
Okay.
he might have been gone while you guys were there. But he was fucking hilarious. And I stole some of his jokes when I was an instructor because I just felt they were so good they had to be carried on.
Yeah, they got, yeah.
And he's like a really fit guy. But he'd come up and the dudes they'd all be doing fucking push-ups, and he'd walk out there. He had this strut, just like the blue and golds. He just straight. He didn't take him so seriously. He was just, playing a role, having fun with it. Yeah. See all the guys out there like, looking good, gents. Looking good. Not you. Me.
So
Oh,
stupid.
he has some good ones.
We
man.
used to do that shit in third phase. I'm sure that trickled down because
yeah.
I'm pretty sure I stole that from Jeremy Treskin, who.
Well, we were in the same class.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's probably where he
but
got it
that was
from.
so fucking funny, dude. You would say that shit. You'd see a whole class. You're like, wow. Like, good job. And you'd start to see the students that start to like kind of
the
swell
twinkle
up
in
with
their eyes,
pride,
like, oh, what are we doing?
not you. The instructor staff, you fucking losers. It's just like,
But then they're laughing about it.
yeah,
So
head
it's like,
sinks.
yeah.
They're just demoralized.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, dude, Jeremy and I we were in a Hell Week together, in the same boat crew, and then we were also at third phase together, teaching third phase together.
Yeah.
Which is fucking.
well, you're
sick.
at one together too, right?
Yeah, we were in the same platoon though. So
Oh,
always
okay.
miss each other there.
Yeah. Yeah, I just remember he was telling this one story about whenever he was at third phase with you guys, and I think Gut maybe was the SEA.
Yep.
And he said, he goes, yeah, man, we'd have like laziness competitions. And he goes, we'd be sitting in the fucking hell box to see like which instructor could be the laziest. And he was like, he's like, we were sitting there like call the fucking hell box. You're like, hey, send one of the fucking students over here. Like show up there, like they ring the bell on the hell box, and like, oh, Seaman so and so reporting his order. And you're like, hey, Seaman so. They're like, what time is it? And the dude would be like, it's
11:30.
12:30. He's like, not on your watch, stupid fuck, on mine. And then I'd like come in there and like look at his watch. I thought that was the funniest fucking shit, man.
That's so ridiculous.
Oh my
That's
God,
like choke
dude.
yourself with my hand.
Yeah.
Not
with your watch, you stupid fuck.
Dude,
Some of the funniest things, like especially when you go back there and it's like, they've had that, a bunch of people have done it over the years. It's like especially Hell Week, the stuff you're making people do.
Yeah.
It's like, I need you in an alphabetical height line. And the kids are like, they haven't slept in 2 days, and they fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, it's like, I don't want any fucking tall Z's next to any A's, or like what the fuck? And they're like, and they're like, they haven't slept in like 2 or 3 days, and they're like, son of a bitch, how'd they figure this out? They fucking come pretty damn close.
Make something
What's your
up.
last name?
Yeah.
Anderson.
Going down with a
But
clipboard, you're like,
just watching the wheels turn, and there's always one guy like that gets it. The rest are running, panicking, and he's like, yeah, there's no fucking such. Like he's still aware where everyone else's brains are all mush because they haven't slept. I mean, that stuff, like you'll laugh about, like, yeah,
Forever.
it's just, yeah, it's so funny.
Well, it's fucked up too, and you look back at. I used to look at some of the shit whenever I was an instructor, and think about the shit whenever I was a student, and just go, because when you're a student going through, you think shit is just spur of the moment, especially Hell Week.
Yeah.
Hell Week is like, oh man, they're just making up shit as they go along.
It's
Like, no, it's
partly true.
It's very it's very regimented.
Yeah.
Like when you see, and I mean, I remember times when
it's down to the minute.
yeah, well, you're having them do like these swimmer surf passages and shit, and I'm just like, I'm literally like, you didn't make the time. I'm like literally not even wearing a fucking watch. And like, you didn't make the time. Yeah, and dudes will, and like the students will come in and automatic, like right off the bat, you're like, you didn't make it, like berm sprints, and they don't know that you're making them do berm sprints to warm them up,
Right.
Because they're fucking freezing their fucking dicks off, and they're not wearing any fucking wetsuit or anything, and so there is a method behind the madness, but. To some of your earlier stuff, Mark, what you were saying is a lot of the self-induced stress that the students do. Like,
They're in their own head all
we
the
gotta
time.
hurry up and go hit the surf right away. Like, they're gonna beat us. Like, you're getting fucking beat regardless. It's a fucking room inspection. They're gonna have a fucking
They're gonna find a reason to
kangaroo
fuck you
fucking
up,
court of people down there, and you guys are gonna go through the fucking ringer. Might as well take the time now. Put your shitty boots on, your shitty fucking greens, all that stuff.
And if you take your time, they're only going to be able to do so much of this before log PT or before chow. Like there's
exactly.
So, but to his point, when you start realizing, because like I said, I was there long enough to realize, like, okay, there's structure. I didn't really understand what Hell Week, how like the temperature to how long and like how to what point, but some of the scarier moments in Buds when you saw something off script with an instructor that you knew didn't give a fuck. Nightmare.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Fuck
yeah. I guess we can mention his name, but we're in 198. It's early on. It's like week 1 maybe, and someone fucking. I still remember the kid's name. It was something name like Morton or something. Like this kid's like when you saw him, you're like, I'm not going anywhere near him. He's going to be free. Like he was just skin and bones. And they put us out in the surf, and first we're like making noise, joking, and it's a long time. And this dude starts just like flopping. He's doing like a backward centipede basically, and it's quite amazing. He's getting quite height, and so now it's like wah, wah. They're taking him, they're carrying him off to medical, and as they carry him off, the only one left there is Mike, and he goes. he looks over his shoulders, and he's kind of like, I know what you fuckers hate. Get fucking back in the water. And I remember thinking like, oh, fuck.
He's off the leash
There's
now,
no
dude.
supervision. And I'm like far on this left, as he's
Slowly
as I'm
walk the
looking
other
at him
direction into the dark.
on the left flank, and this is just regular in the day, not hell week, like, and it's just him. We got so many students, and now we're going back in the surf, and I can still hear because medical's like right there up the berm, and I can hear people talking, whatever. And I hear the one, I forget who the chief was. He was a corpsman. Like, hey, who's out there with the guys? And they're like, yeah, Mike's out there with him. He's like, by himself? Like, he's like, by himself? And he comes hustling up. Yeah, it's like fucking. I don't want to water. And it was like, as soon as he sent us back out, I was like, quick. There's all these like, there's like 10 people that quit. It was just like. And then actually, that's when the one kid, I think it might have been that time, he was like, hey, get back. He's like, not today. And like he was like complete smartass. He's like, not today, senior. And he was like, mother, and he wanted to fight him.
Yeah.
But it's the kid's quitting. But
Well,
he's
that
like,
was during Hell Week. We had an entire boat crew quit. It was like Monday night. We just came back from the chow hall, and they were like, and
they
it was,
just left.
Yeah, it was like boat crew 1 up, boat crew 2 up. Go through the whole thing.
like, the whole
and then,
boat crew. Yeah, there's boat crew 5. No answer.
Yeah.
They're like, they left. Like they're just like,
well, you get to the next boat crew, and like there was a boat sitting there. There was nobody there, and he's just like, and it was like boat crew 4, boat crew 4.
That's crazy.
And he's like yelling, like, you dumb motherfuckers. They're like, Chief, we're boat crew 5. He's like, God damn it, boat crew 5, you're not boat crew 4, you stupid motherfuckers. Like the whole boat crew just said, see you later. And one of the dudes was
wild,
like,
man.
literally like,
everyone says this, but if you look up, was it December 1994, first week of December?
yeah.
Yeah, it's. I'm willing to bet it's.
It was the coldest on record.
It was cold as fuck.
Just
It
look
was
it up.
snowing uphill.
It was cold.
Water temp 50, 30 wind outside, to where people driving across the bridge like, oh, there's a hell week.
Dude,
This
no
is
shit.
bad. So, and here's the thing. To his point, we didn't realize after whatever it was Monday, they weren't allowed, based on their cards, to really put us in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
lost
they were
20,
just threatening.
20 dudes on Steel Pier, and Mr. Krug was
Our
the 20th.
yeah.
They're like,
He was
Mr.
the
Krug,
OIC.
you had 19 quitters.
And a buddy of ours that was like going to be made AOIC was like, you really shouldn't quit. This is a good idea. Stay with us. And they're like, shut up, because he did not want to be in charge.
He didn't want to be the OIC.
You know who it is. We won't say his name, but you know he's great, and he's basically Matthew McConaughey. He's got this draw, and he's like,
awesome.
and he plays this dumb, Southerner, but he's smart as shit,
Yeah.
and he's Olympic swimmer.
yeah.
And so we are like in Hell Week, the CTT's closed, so they got us like in the other pool at NAB. And like they couldn't figure out what to do. They got us doing raft fights. The boats are upside down fighting, and it's great. And then they
the
challenged.
winners would get set in the sauna. Remember that shit?
Well, this is what I'm getting to.
That's almost worse,
So
dude.
then it was.
Yeah,
no,
that's
so
not
then it
fun.
was like not the winners for that, but then they challenge Tom. They're like, Tom. They knew he was a swimmer. If you can make this time, you guys get hot showers. And then he would not make it, or he'd make it. And like, okay, double or not. And he'd be like, not make it. And then it's just like, okay, no legs. You got to make this time. And they got the thing there. And it's like, oh, I don't think I can make that, instructor. So, it's got to be worth a little bit more. Than they're like, okay, saunas. And then we're doing this back and forth. And then at one point, we're in the saunas. We're all in there, right? And some are in the showers. And then he just comes out of it. Like Kaiser Sose, he's like, okay, I got about 2 more of these that I can get these before these motherfuckers figure out I'm snowing them. And then the other, because we had a whole bunch of officers. There was like this overflow of officers. They're like, Tom, you can't do that. And then he goes to me. I'm like, yeah, let's go for this. Like he asked me because I was
he
one
was
of
like
the
sandbagging like a motherfucker. Then
and then
he'd be
it looked like he had like a rooster tail, like he blew it out, and then we get to go sit in the saunas, and then we come out, all the lights are off, chem lights. It was like breakout all over again, like you fucking sandbagging motherfucker.
Dude, it does get cold in Coronado. I remember when I was checking I was checking into Buds, man, for 219, and the Hell Week was going on. I think it was like Wednesday of Hell Week.
Yep.
And I remember getting my little bunk, and you got this little window that overlooks the grinder there, or where the part of the grinder. And there's there's only 3 boat crews left. It must have been 218, and it's fucking hailing on them.
Oh,
I guess it's no shit hailing on
Yeah.
them. And I'm like, what the fuck did I sign myself up for, bro?
Yeah.
Like, this is bad.
Yeah, dude. I remember working at Hell Week as an instructor, and I almost quit. It was fucking cold, dog. I was like, holy shit. It was, I don't remember what class it was, but
Yeah.
I just remember I was always on like the whatever third shift. It was like the the fucking night, right before the shift would end like at 7 in the morning. So it was like midnight to 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
11 to 8,
shifts,
11 to 7 or whatever. But yeah, it was just dumping fucking rain and like windy, it's like raining sideways. And dude, we're out there as instructor staff with like our windbreakers and shit, and like I'm like, God damn, it's fucking cold out here. And you'd see the students they're just like they're looking at the instructor staff going, oh my fucking God, like save us, like please don't do anything fucking silly or rash that's gonna make fucking like
that messes with them too though. If you're like pretending your teeth are chattering as you're talking to them, and they're like, if this fucker's cold.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Doing those, though, because I never worked first phase, but when I worked advanced training, I'd always volunteer for the Hell Weeks and get my staff to do the same. It was like it was so motivational. Yeah. Like, I would envy them, not to the point that I wanted to necessarily, like, I'll do the next one, like, but to the point of, like, seeing that perseverance and seeing what these kids are going through and keep pushing, that it's like, it just looks like it was like a recharge, a reset on your own. Like, hey, suck it up, perseverance.
Watching dudes overcome some of that shit. You're like, dude, holy fuck.
Dude,
man.
I only worked one whole week. I think it was 254, the class I proctored later. But, I mean, it's been, years since I was actually in whole week. And I forgot how fucking hard it is. Because you have an 8-hour shift and you're not running. Yeah. When the guys are running, you're usually like, either walking or
slow shuffle.
Yeah, but you're walking, you're on your feet the whole time, walking, doing the stuff with the guys. I'm like, holy shit. I went home from that 8-hour shift. I'm like, put my feet up. I'm like, this is hard as fuck, dude. Just doing 8 hours as an instructor. Like, I forgot how fucking hard Hell Week was.
Well, just when they're going down the state beach with the logs.
Yeah.
You think about how long that is. And just you're running along or walking with them. It's like, how much? Oh, fuck.
Well, they did this one thing where they have to carry it at like the bicep thing.
Yeah. I
don't remember ever doing that Hell Week. Maybe we did, but I don't remember it.
Well, they used to do a lot of the side carry thing.
Yeah.
And same with the boats. And I didn't realize that they were doing that on purpose because of how miserable it was. I thought it was just fucking me up. But I think they got away and went more to this. Because I think that might have been
worse on your lower back.
And the neck thing. I think they used to start. I'm pulling this out of my ass, but I think some of the neck stuff with the boats, they try to take a little bit of that away because it's causing problems.
Which is, seeing some of the later classes. I mean, later classes. Shit, I've been retired for like 13 fucking years, but I mean, actually seeing the instructor staff though hold some of the students accountable. Because, when you're going through as a student, I just remember like, hey, just don't quit and you'll fucking, you'll make it to the end. But I remember sometimes where you had dudes that were obviously not putting out and not kind of failure to train type shit. And like the phase OIC, like pulling these dudes aside and like, hey, if you don't, he's like, it's not just about not quitting. Like if you physically are unwilling to fucking train, if you're just a fucking sandbagging piece of shit, and like your head's never under the fucking boat, you're slowing your entire boat crew down with everything you're doing. They're like, dude, we will fucking drop you from training for a failure to train.
Nonverbal DOR, failure to train.
Yeah.
So I think you have to start doing that when you can add the on the fly stuff. So let's say you want to put your head under the boat.
The training
fine.
creep.
They pull you out and make you just run laps around the boat with all the paddles. And then, like that's now, because when you start getting into this and this stuff, the curriculum goes big Navy and SOCOM. It's just like, wait, that is not real remediation. It's almost like you're trying to make that person. So unless that's written in, you got to write these things in. Like if they're not doing this has to. So that's how you have to show that it's not hazing. And I think they got pretty good with that lately, but some of the things, they can't do that, but it's like, wait a second, if this person isn't doing, so how can you count on them?
They definitely had to make some changes whatever net C or CNET kind of.
Yeah.
Once we got our own rate and the Buds became an A school.
I was an instructor when that changed. It was a massive change.
Yeah.
And we didn't know shit about it.
It was for the better, to be honest. It needed to be standardized and put in like a solid curriculum, which ended up saving our asses later when they tried to force chicks to go through, and they're like, no, this is the fucking training. This is the way it is.
Yeah.
And it actually
it's got nothing to do with you, bro.
If you have a legit standard and you can show it, task condition standards, according to the curriculum. If you're a fireman, you got to be able to climb this ladder. You got to be able to climb it with this weight. You got to be able to do it in low light conditions and this. And you have that. It's not just something you pulled out of your ass.
Right.
Even if it was legit, it's like, you're just trying to get Kevin out of training. You know, that you want to remove that from it. So that you're right. It did make things better.
The EOD pipeline was really good about that because, like, obviously you have to have very strict curriculum to be able to pass a test. Like, what you did, would it have set off the ordinance or violated a safety? Yes or no? It's like, oh, yeah, okay, then you fucking fail. But as you got into the community, it became way more subjective, which is a big failure because you had guys that, you know, they had experience, and then if they did it, they thought it was okay, even though they probably shouldn't have done it, and they're just like, you know, it was really hard to standardize the drill sets to qualify someone as, you know, a team lead. And so it quietly became like, okay, did you have a thought process for what you did? Did you have reasons for why you did those things? What were you thinking for the reason you did that instead of this? And so you couldn't really follow a drill sheet because, especially with IEDs, it's like, you don't fucking know. So you're trying to figure out kind of like a threat triangle: intent, location, and type by function. Like, okay, if it's at that gate there, the intent is to stop me to go through that gate. So what's the type by function of that IED? So if you had a thought process behind some of what you did, then hopefully you were good to go. But then there was guys that just ran through a checklist and they never violated a safety, but they were fucking idiots.
Yeah, they weren't thinking about the problem.
Yeah, they never thought about it, right? So it's like, how do I tell this guy he's going to get somebody killed? And then, but he didn't get himself killed. But his decisions in a shitty scenario, he's going to get somebody killed because he's a checklist retard.
Well, that's you know, alluded to it earlier. Like, you have to have, so both ends of that, right? Like, someone goes on deployment, comes back, like, we got to start teaching one-man entries because I did like 5 on deployment. Like, no, you teach 2-man entries. Yeah. But if you're standing in front of an open door and 80% of the room, you're doing a one-man, like you teach the foundation to, like, hey, everything's perfect. This is this. Yeah. And if you understand everything, then that's same thing. Schoolhouse. I think Buds was always good with the runs with this. And if you think about it, like, well, where are we teaching? We allow guys multiple times to fail, roll them back, whatever. But where they had to clean things up with some of the remediation, and where they really had to clean things up as well. Why are we doing this in the first place? What does that attach to in real life of what the job is? Yeah. And all the things we were doing it just wasn't really solidified somewhere. And then they got good at doing that. And then the problem I saw was during that same period of time, someone tried pushing that into the teams. Like, it has to be black and white on day this. Like, no. You want curriculum to be written pretty broad when you're actually operational on a unit, not at a schoolhouse, to allow people to do this and change as tactics change. Otherwise, you're like, nope, day 2, you have to do this. Yeah.
Like, these are the rules. Yeah, there's going to be fucking exceptions. Yeah. So you shouldn't have to identify every fucking exception in black and white and go, hey, just know that there may be a time you actually have to go in that fucking room by yourself.
Yeah. So the gray area, right? So Ivan, everyone, we all work with Ivan.
Ivan Trent?
Krusik?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was on the show.
He was on the show, yeah.
Great. I gotta catch up with Ivan. So at one point when Ivan was at training cell at 3, remember we're doing breaches, whatever, you breach through the door and there's like 550 cord and all this, like just random shit he would always do. Now, maybe at the time, hey, fuckhead, just, he wasn't able to communicate the reasonings for it. But that type of stuff gets lost now, where it's like, hey, we still need to have, like, you've done everything right, but it's still not working. Right. And that needs to be said, and doesn't have to be written away that has to happen a certain way, but that needs to be not only said, but showcased throughout our training pipelines once you get to the teams. It can't just be these sterile things, and we shouldn't be doing urban warfare where you and all 40 of your buddies are shot off target and you shot every round. And then when you go to something for real, nothing happens. You need both. To manage expectations, right? Like, who's fucking, like, otherwise you got someone that doesn't know, like, hey, everything's calm and now I need to go far right, up and to the right, or calm it back down. So you have to have all that, like, that trick fuckery really helps you understand the gray. And what I saw because I ended at SQT, I think you did too, right?
No,
my last tour was at SQT. I think I got there right after you left. Okay. Right? And I was the training officer there. And those were the things that the newer generation, not to their fault, they're looking for black and white answers. And it seemed like people wanted to cater to give, like, no. Let them know there is no. Like, this is what it is if it's this. How this, how you prioritize your threats are going to be based on what the situation you're in, the firepower you have, what's being brought up against you, and I was a little worried that we were getting a little bit too black and white on stuff, and there is no black and white answers. Yeah, that you have to have that for the baseline, but you got to throw them those curveballs.
Well, I think the Navy and the SEAL teams in particular have done a good job of keeping that in the curriculum of that 10 to 20% of like we encourage guys to think outside the box.
Yes.
The gray area.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is your problem, but also maybe this problem doesn't even need to be fucking solved.
Yep.
You know what? Maybe you can just bypass this whole fucking thing. Like, what is your real goal? What are you trying to accomplish? What's your mission?
Yeah.
You don't have to get sucked into this fucking problem if you don't need to. You know. So I think we've done a good job of keeping that that spark of fucking piracy in the training, where it's like, hey, a little bit of, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yep.
Like, it sounds bad in the schoolhouse, but man, that translates very well to just thinking outside the box and, you know, just being a little
It
creative.
always bothered me when someone came into trade that was stuck on it had to be their way. We talked about Mike Muir as a lunatic instructor. He wasn't. Super smart guy. Later on, I worked for him at Trade Ed. I worked for him and Mark Lee. Older Mark Lee that passed away a couple years ago. Both brilliant dudes. I think both were blue team. And one of the things that Mike said as soon as he showed up, which was completely different than the guy that I was working for that don't want to step on anyone, that was just like so set on his way. This is right when we did Force 21, so it's like just stood up Trade Ed, so you pull all the training cells together, and I'm now like the LPO of Trade Ed assaults.
Was he the guy that team won with like a high and tight?
Kind of like slick back here.
I think I know
he
you're
ran
talking
your assaults. Doesn't matter. But he came there and he was just so a certain way. And then you had Mike come in, and I'm like the LPO. I got a bunch of guys that have been around forever that don't want to be in charge, don't want to do anything from all, everyone has 5 does it this way, 1 does it, 3 does it, everyone's better.
Yeah.
So it was a pain in the ass just with that. But Mike came in and was just like, hey, you can't attach your pride and yourself to any tactic. You got to be able to change it tomorrow.
Smart.
If it doesn't work. He's like, and the people that do, because you have people fighting about, has to be guns up, has to be guns, like, no, what is the most.
High port versus low port
Yeah,
shit.
and it's just like really, no, the low port came to do with safety in a training environment. Mm-hmm. You're going to hit a couch and be stuck. You're going to be hit. It has nothing to do with.
And your instructor's in the catwalk.
Yeah, so that has nothing to do with real life operation. So make sure you're not in the way in the catwalk. It's up to us. And so those types of little things like that someone like that seemed like this guy's not someone that you can discuss stuff with. No, he was the easy. It's just like he was willing to change. Here I am as junior E6, and he's just like, hey, what do you think of? He's like, no, that sounds great. And,
That's pretty cool.
He was amazing tactically and as a boss that way. But those are, to your point, those are the things you see in the teams that as long as we keep that gray area, probably one of the things I'm very proud of. When I went to SQT, I thought back, I go out to Alaska. These guys are at the beginning of training going to Alaska, and they can't do anything because they have no tactics other than just cold weather stuff. And for years, people talked about moving it. I'm like, well, let's just fucking move it to the end. And now we can have them do full-on operations. Like, yeah, we've tried it and it never works. I'm like, we're doing it. Yeah. And so I thought back to my first platoon where I got pulled out of SQT and I sent up to Alaska, and we're up there for a month. And it was the hardest work. You're coming back after long, 3-day operations, freezing your ass off, but you still are outside having to clean the boats, run the engines, and just the work that was involved.
Yeah.
The planning. Like, hey, if we're going to do this, we're going to need this many boats, this many trailers. That alone, for them to get that, and the only time I had that was my first platoon, because it never went back. But the elements, everything you had to think about, it was just the worst environment possible to plan this shit. So I was able to get that switched around, and just seeing these kids working just bump plans at such an early stage where it's not just on paper to like, wait, we're going to take this many boats. I'm like, how many trailers you have? And then if you take a trailer out, like, well, can I still do the op? Because I can't get the boats. And then we set up scenarios where it's like, okay, where are you leaving this stuff? And so now they're doing dry suit transitions, trying to hold security. And I thought about that in the platoon and seeing guys with 10 years in and being a soup sandwich with gear everywhere. And now seeing these young kids who actually, I think the worry about getting in trouble made them much better than my fucking. I remember my platoon being it, and yeah, when they went there and actually did the hit, their CQC sucked, but that's not really what it's about.
Yeah,
they're going to get
fine.
that fixed.
Yeah.
But patrolling and that. I mean, that's landed a loss.
Yeah.
And like having to deal with that water, dry suit transitions, playing it, going back out, that type of stuff. Hopefully, they kept it that way. That'll carry on. They'll have that as a base for the rest of their careers.
I will say, because at Team 5, we would go up there every workup, and I saw some of the fucking hardest dudes, or dudes that I respected the most in the community. And I mean, we had the shittiest fucking dry suits and those shitty black rubber ones before we actually got like the mass suits that were like better, where you actually put some decent footwear and like keep your feet up off the floorboards and gloves. I mean, but I just remember seeing dudes who I who were well respected in the teams. I mean, you come off one of those long range MAROP deals where you're out on the water for like a whole fucking day, and then you have to do a fucking over the beach with multiple Zodiacs, and you're pulling those 55 horsepower motors with, like, you taking the 55 off
heavy,
the transom, putting it on a fucking 2x4, and then two guys are moving this thing
Over
into
3
the
foot
fucking
boulders.
into the fucking hinterland with fucking waves crashing and shit, and then you get back to Spruce Cape, and like you're saying, you still have to fucking PMS or take care of all your shit, and team gear, personal gear, then you. And I mean, you would see guys that lost a lot of credit because you're out there fucking rinsing off boats and motors, and then you go inside and you see some fucking dude who's already showered, and you're like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's fuck you, new guy. You're like, that's like, new guy my ass, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, you can either help with this shit, or we can tape your ass up and you can fucking sleep outside tonight.
Catch some fins to the tummy, dude.
It's a long way to yell back to the strand.
Yeah.
So I remember I wanted to be point man, and then we get out there and they're like,
Like, nah,
hey,
I'm good.
like, we're going to do the long range one. Oh, so first off, this is before the ribs that we got used to, and so it's like the 24
foot.
So you would do like
ribs.
rendezvous out at sea. So you'd do like hour and a half of Zodiac. You meet the rib out at sea. Everyone gets on the rib, and then he gets and then they pull it up.
Oh, that's fun. Yep.
And now you're on the rib, and you go for however long, and you have to have like the ski gullet, because everything's freezing to your face, right? So and then you put the boat back in, and now you're going to do swimmer scout. So I was like swimmer scout, and didn't realize these fuckers wanted me just to break trail, because I have no idea what's going on. It's just
throw that fucking alder and shit up there.
But my doing this over the beach stuff, it's I ripped the bottom of my dry suit.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm on this one, I'm swimming in, and I can start feeling a little bit of like pins and needles on my foot. I'm like, oh, fuck, trying to get in there real quick, because it's just slowly coming, and it's just so cold. And you get in there, and now you're getting the boats in, and you're doing a dry suit transition, and then I'm just walking. And actually, you can't transition yet. You try to get in there. So in my dry suit, trying to break trail, and now I'm like, this is why these fuckers said, because it's up to my waist, and I'm starting to like overheat. I'm seeing red, and it's just like I think I'm getting ready to pass out before you change. But yeah, that's like day one. It was a 3-day long range nav. Train's insane, and trying to figure it out. But
so much
that work ethic,
planning and gear that goes into that stuff. People don't realize. Oh, you just get off the boats, and you get on the water, and you get on, like, no big deal. Like, no. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Fucking heavy motherfucking rucksacks, dude, with that shit. So take a break?
Yeah, perfect time for a break.
All right.
Let's go.
Clap
Welcome back.
in.
Welcome
We're
back.
back. Welcome back.
Mogwai.
That's what it was.
See?
Gremlin.
And this guy doubts me. Come on.
The Oracle always. No, I didn't doubt you.
I have so much useless knowledge on things like this, like of every movie.
On the break, we were trying to figure out what the name of the Gremlins were before they turned into the Gremlins.
Yeah.
Mogwai.
Mogwai, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a compendium of useless.
Sounds like a fucking Indian
And
tribe.
if needed, I can probably do a 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon to the Mogwai, or whatever the hell it's called.
I think they're related to the Ewoks, though.
Yeah, probably.
Could be.
Yeah, one of the stupidest things we would do, because like China Lake, it's funny because like deployment, you have internet somehow, but on China Lake, you got nothing up there. There's literally nothing. No internet, no cell phone service, no nothing. And so we would bring up things. We'd be like, what was that fucking thing? And the rule was, even if you could, you can't look up anything. You just had to make some shit up and convince everybody else that it was true.
That's killing us, man. So think about it. Like, that's what you did.
I know.
But now, when you have a question, someone grabs that little computer and looks at it.
Like,
So, like, your brain having to do the association to tie it
There's
together,
no critical
we've
thinking
lost that. And I would say that's probably not necessarily critical if I'm trying to figure out if De Niro was in a movie with Kevin Bacon
That's
or not.
not critical.
But it's still exercising your fucking brain.
Absolutely.
You're attaching it to a memory. But now it's just like, let
It's
someone
like,
else
hey,
tell
Jamie,
me.
look this up.
Well, also, like, maps.
And it's wrong.
I've been in San
And it's
Diego
wrong a lot of
almost
times.
30 fucking years. I still cannot get around this town without fucking plugging it
That's
into my
sad,
maps.
dude.
Whereas I used to drive across fucking country and nothing but like the fucking Thomas guide. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
The
first
some
thing I
tourist
do-
maps.
So I lived here before that stuff. So it'd be like you meet someone, they'd be like, "Yeah, you take the 94, you get off at the Taco Bell, you drive up and turn right."
Exactly.
And you had that in here,
Yeah.
as well as.
Yeah.
So I still got all
It's
the.
landmarks.
had
It's not
to.
I
street
still
names,
have my
'cause nobody knows
9th grade
fucking
locker
street names.
combination and phone numbers from high school. But other than that, I can't find my keys.
I've got publication numbers for fucking ordnance items and like tools. Like it's still.
Yeah.
Like I went to the mobile unit the other day to say hey to some guys, and these like a couple new guys were like, "Hey, what's the fucking
What's the air manual? 3003.
Yeah.
Like, oh fuck.
What's the publication for the pack bot? I was like 2199. They're like, how do you know that? I was like, I don't fucking know.
Because you had to.
Comes out.
So I even
Because fuck you, that's how.
Yeah.
I can remember being
Fucking
on
new
one of
guy.
How do you not fucking know that?
being an ordnance guy. I remember like the back of the truck being opened up. I'm like, that's not enough. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, that's not going to get us through land warfare.
We're missing shit.
And because it just like, and then I was like fucking Rain Man, like we need 3 hours. If we're going to do this many IADs, this many this, there's going to be this many cases of it. And they're just like, I was like, who ordered it? Yeah, it's just not
Yeah.
enough. You know, it's like,
No.
I can
It's
see it.
never enough.
He was a retard.
Yeah.
So speaking of the teams, getting back into it, I know we graduated buds together, and well, we started STT together before I was
Yeah, what happened?
hastily asked to leave for
Try sucking a guy's dick again.
being in the wrong place at the wrong time at the Midnight Rodeo in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Was that that parking lot story that you told before?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
I have a feeling Kevin has a lot. I'm not a feeling. I know Kevin has a
Happen to
lot
know
of
for a fact.
just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Weird
Yeah.
how that works. It's only to Kevin though.
no, it was fucking weird, man. Like, and honestly, I feel one of the reasons I made it through my career in the teams was, again, some of that adversity. When I first got to the team, we had a CMC that was there that, like, if you were a new guy, you were just automatically fucking hated just for strictly being a fucking new guy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I look back at it this way of, not to say I'd never did a platoon with him. I didn't know him from anybody. Like, we actually put his son through training, and his son was a great team guy. I think he's probably still in, and I think he's back east. But it was just one of those things to where, like when you had a shitty instructor in Buds who was a complete fucking asshole, it was unfair. I mean, granted, you're going to get instructor staff who are fucking assholes. They're all pretty much assholes.
Yeah.
But they're dudes that were assholes for the sake of being assholes, and they're dudes that are actually there to teach you some shit. And you would come away with guys like, man, that guy was he was a fucking prick, and he always made us get wet and sandy. But
learned some shit, though.
you're gonna be like that anyways.
Yeah.
But actually learn something from the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus,
Or they're funny about it or
yeah,
something.
yeah. Or
I
you
didn't
just
learn
had
anything. It was my ass.
instructor staff who were complete fucking pricks, and then you found out later you go to a team, they're like, oh yeah, that dude did like half a fucking platoon,
Yeah.
and then got sent to Buds because he was a corpsman or some shit, and you're like,
There's that guy.
oh well, no fucking wonder the guy was a fucking bitter asshole.
Yeah. there's
I
lot
had a
of that.
buddy. His name was Joe Smith. Believe it or not.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I swear to God, it's so funny.
Was he Mormon?
He was not. He was not. But there's other stories that I can't tell because his name is Joe Smith. But he wasn't necessarily funny. He was a super hard worker, but he always had these small quips and things that he would say when someone would try to like berate him. And it was always fucking hilarious, and someone would be like, oh, well, I went to fucking Afghanistan, you're just a fucking new guy or whatever. And he's like, sorry, I wasn't born before you.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
they'd be like, why do you not know this? Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't born with that knowledge. Was I supposed to know that?
Yeah.
And he would always just hit him with that. And they would always be like, fuck you,
That's a skill, man.
Sorry, what do you want from me? dude?"
Skill.
Yeah.
Humor is a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't even necessarily funny, but it was just like, it made me laugh. Because
Yeah.
I was always like, oh, got him.
Yeah.
Do you? I mean, I'm assuming you know how involved I was with that situation you're talking about.
No.
Okay.
With whenever I got kicked out of STT.
Yeah.
The parking lot situation?
Well, I remember, because
Because
I
remember,
remember
they made me on that trip because we had
I
all.
reported you.
Yeah, I was the guy with the hammer. Right? Yeah. So STT it was like each time a team would host it. You may know this.
Yeah.
But before we had SQT, it'd be like, okay, SEAL training team 3 is going to host it this time. So team 5, team 1, send your bodies there. And then you'd have a bunch of old heads that were somewhere else or got out and come back in that were in there. So we had a couple chiefs, we had a couple first classes.
Part of the training cell.
But they were like, so since it's going to be team 3, it has to be a team 3 person that's the LPO. And Daryl didn't want to do it.
Thorazine?
Yeah, so I end up being the LPO. And so we got all these old heads, and then there was a bunch of Team 5 guys that were corpsmen that were like 5 classes ahead of, because they kind of got screwed.
Yeah.
So there was a bunch of.
Are you talking about the guys that came through as students? Or no,
Yes.
mean, they were previous team guys, but they got out and they're
Yeah.
going to
Like
so there's-
Tosh was in our class.
Yeah, so there's people like that. Like we had a chief that went.
Shanghai was in my class.
So
Yeah.
the chief was working at the Pentagon, and he's now in the class because he has to go back through SEAL training team to get the quals. But then we had guys that went through BUDS and had to go to medical, whatever.
18 Delta.
Yeah, 18 Delta.
18 Delta.
Yeah.
So they're like
Oh,
a
right.
year. They've been out of BUDS for a year, and now they're going through.
Yeah.
And so there was this hostility of like, oh, this guy's in charge. So it was kind of weird. But so I'm like the LPO, and then we have Billy that's in charge, senior chief.
Yeah.
And so I get the call at 4 a.m.
Like,
So
hey,
we-
one of your guys has been arrested.
So we should probably paint this picture a little better. So, can we say Billy's name?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Billy Nell. You gotta know Billy Nell?
I don't think so.
So Billy Nell was probably a civilian working ranges and stuff. He's still working the community, and kind of like Burgess Meredith from Rocky. He's never been young. Like you can't find a movie where Mick from Rocky
like Willem
is
Dafoe.
younger than 50, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Same.
So I met Billy Nell, and he was like already like hearing aids, old as shit. Like, and Billy's part of the Dirty 30.
Dirty 30, yeah.
Wait, what's
These
the
are the
dirty
guys
thing?
right at the end of Vietnam, made it through BUDS, and then someone's like, "We don't need special forces." Okay, we
Oh,
do, but
I
not
heard
this
about
many.
that,
Go back
yeah.
to the fleet.
Yeah, they
And
took
so-
30 dudes and literally sent them to the fleet.
and then he 2 years later got to come back. So
What a bummer.
Yeah, he's been around.
That's wild.
So I would be bitter, too.
Yeah, no shit.
So Billy was running this, and he loved
better
it.
30.
Like he loved having the young guys and doing this. Yeah. So he set this trip up in Albuquerque for this big exercise they have, and we're going to do all of our air stuff down there.
Chili flag.
Chili flag. So we start off with flying in low-level C-130 flight jocked up from here, people throwing up on the plane, and then when we jump, no one realized that altitude is different, so the pilot didn't take that into consideration. So all of
Yeah.
our big guys like broke legs. and
Dudes had, multiple broken ankles and landing in fences and torn parachutes.
that's like
and,
day one. We're there a month.
Yeah.
But
Where
and
you
it
guys
was
landing at Albuquerque?
Albuquerque.
New
Because
Mexico.
I went to high school in Santa Fe for a bit. That's like 7,000 feet. So Albuquerque's like 5,000.
I think it's like 4,000, but yeah.
4,000?
it-
They,
like-
they didn't take into consideration the
Yeah.
pilot.
No above
I think
ground
they
level.
took, well, I think
no
they,
AGL there.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
we were
they-
pretty low.
They took into some account, but yeah, we jumped low as fuck.
I remember jumping out like, whoa, it's all static. But
I was about to say it's got to be static line.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're like, wow, I didn't even need a fucking reserve for this one.
But it was, we partied our ass off. And so our vehicles, they got us 2 Air Force buses. And just, we were told, just tape off the side where it says Air Force, just put a piece of cardboard and tape it so it's not an Air Force bus. Well, it probably was a applied task that you wouldn't take this to the bar. This is just to get you and drop people off. But not only did we take it to the bar, but like they had, the first time I ever saw drive-through
It's more
liquor
efficient.
stores.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing the drive-through
Oh, yeah.
liquor
They're
store
great.
and it's stuck. It doesn't fit under the overhead. We got kegs in there, liquor.
Dude,
and,
we
yeah.
ran out of gas at one point, and some civilian tow truck company towed the fucking thing.
So I get called in the middle of the night, and I think it's all the same night. It's like, where are the fucking buses? And like, I have to go look for these. So first thing I do is like, okay, Yellow Pages, where are the strip bars? And so I find one up on the curb next to the strip. Like, I'm like, okay, they're going to
That's
ditch
our
it far
boys.
away. It's on the parking lot. There's still booze all in the thing. And then another one was broke down somewhere else. So I got 2 big buses. I got to get jumped. And then I find out
Seats are all bent backwards.
that he's in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah. And dude, this had been a month of shit that was. It was one thing after another.
Yeah,
And
you were
this
telling
was-
the story. That
Yeah.
was a lot.
I mean, dude, we had broken windows in buses. We had buses ran out of gas. We had buses that were mysteriously just like, wait, where's the bus? And just all this random shit. And not to mention the dudes who had like broken ankles that, nobody called back to the command like, hey, this dude's fucked up. And all of a sudden you got like this dude's like wife or girlfriend calls CMC, goes, hey, why are you keeping my husband out in Albuquerque to help pack parachutes when he's got a broken ankle and he can't do it. He should be home and recuperating and shit. So there was just one thing after another. And so then the last night, it's like, nobody get fucking arrested. Nobody get in trouble. We throw this big keg party for our Air Force cats. And
what could go wrong?
Who proceeds to fucking get kicked out of the bar and get in trouble? This guy, And actually, Lou Langless came in like, you might have even been with him. Like,
so we got called to, Nell's room, and he's just like losing. I'm like, like blah 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 blah, and then so I had to like speak on your behalf, and then
this guy's a fucking shitbird.
100%. Yeah. I was like, I don't know about team guy, but I'm sure he didn't do this. But then those guys. But what I was going to say is how much like I saw Billy fight on your behalf.
Yeah.
So he was the guy that was like, hey, this is. Team guys do this. How are we going to fix it? Like, even if you did do it, he was just like, we don't throw him away. We fucking let's beat him and figure out a way to make him.
Yeah.
But I'll.
Yeah.
Let you.
So we get back to San Diego and we have to jump in to Trident DZ in Otay, and it's a Friday, and they're like, all right, see everybody on fucking Monday. We come hanging shoots, and it's the end of a fucking day, and. Regular ass trip, and it's like, all right, see you Monday. And Monday, I'm like, well, fuck
this must be done.
Yeah, because like they literally were like, okay, your charges are dismissed. They're like, whatever. And I literally, I had the walk of shame coming back to the plane. Like literally, they picked me up from jail. I'm still in my fucking clothes. I wish we could find that fucking mugshot, but dude, I had fucking blood all down my fucking face, and which I'm sure
I eyed one for that story. It was pretty good.
Cleaned it up by then, but I just remember you walking to the bird. Everybody's on the plane, and it's like me and Lou, and we get on the bird, and I'm like changing into my fucking camis, and we fly in. We jump into Trident DZ, and then we go put everything away. So I just figured, I'm like, they didn't say anything other than see you Monday.
Left in New Mexico.
Yeah. And so Monday morning, I think we were starting like MAROPS or some shit. I can't remember what block we were starting, and I just remember I think it was Billy comes in. It's like in the middle, like, and this is what we're gonna do. Hey, what are you doing here? And I'm like, me?
Team shit?
Yeah. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I think you need to go back to Team 5. I think your Master Chief wants to have a word with you. I was like,
that's always good.
Okay.
Right on.
So I go back to the fucking team, and I literally, the good thing about that is I think we had checked into Team 5 in like August, September of like 95. And I mean, we started STT almost right away, because I think I actually got arrested. It was like the beginning of November or some shit. And it was like one of the first blocks that we even went through. I was like, well, we'll get in trouble right away. I don't know.
Just knock it out.
Yeah. And so, I had minimal exposure with the CMC or anybody. I mean, I go in there and it's like 9 o'clock, and everybody's done with PT and shit. And I had already been down to Team 3 in my camis, and I'm just like, I wonder what he wants to have a word. I'm thinking,
what's up, bro?
Yeah, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna get another fucking ass chewing. But in terms of, at this point, I didn't think I was kicked out of anything.
Yeah.
I'm
that
like,
ended up
dude,
being like a big fucking deal.
Oh, dude, I sat in purgatory for like a fucking year.
Wow.
Waiting for this shit to fucking roll over. And honestly, he pulls me into his office and he fucking unloads. He's like, what, you fucking new guy, stupid motherfucker, blah, 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 blah. I was just like, and he was like, you're literally, it's going to be my recommendation to the CEO that you're off the team. And I was
even though all your shit got dropped, they knew they got the wrong guy.
I go, Master Chief, the charges were dismissed. And he goes, that doesn't fucking mean anything.
It kind of does.
He goes,
actually.
that just means they got a year to build a case against you. And I was like,
for a bar incident, no.
Not what that means.
So that's exactly what he told me. He goes, if you want to get back into training, he goes, I want a letter that says these charges are formally dropped.
What a faggot.
And so I was like, okay. So I start thinking like, okay, well, what do? I get a fucking retainer, so get this lawyer, and I had it was actually a friend of like my brother's, somebody that they knew a lawyer in Albuquerque somehow, and I was like, oh,
His
this
name
is cool.
Vinny, was it a cousin?
Yeah, right.
It was Saul.
My cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
It's got a really,
Yeah, that'd
really
be
hot,
great.
really hot
Yeah.
sister.
No, so it was. I wound up calling this guy and I get some legal advice from him. I go, hey, this is what happened, and he goes, yeah, it sounds like they just wanted to make a fucking. If they had any, he goes, if they had any fucking evidence
They would've
against you,
charged
Right.
they would have held you. They're like, obviously you're a drunken dumbass
Well,
in
also,
the parking lot.
the only
and-
reason it was a case of mistaken identity for the audience, because we told this story a while ago. It's a big story. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But
they were calling me somebody else.
Yeah, the
and
whole
all
thing
this other
hinges
shit.
on they thought you were somebody else in the parking lot who had been breaking windows with a hammer, and they knew the guy's name, but they never checked your fucking ID.
Yeah, I literally had my ID in my wallet, and the dude that actually hit me was a fucking cop. And he came out and his window was broken, and he sees me out there like a dumbass, and so sure as shit, call the lawyer. To make a long story long, call the lawyer, and he's like, well, no, I mean they don't have a year. Yeah, there's a statute of limitations. Like technically, if they find something else out, they could prosecute you for it. But he goes, dude, there's nothing to. It's your word against another dude's word.
Yeah.
There was no like security
let me chill out
cameras
this.
back then. Of like,
And I'm realizing too now that my own legal drama, the statute of limitations is not set in stone for little things like that.
yeah,
And what was happening right around this time, because we had a couple incidents happen with that same class, and we had a buddy that I ended up
weird.
getting out of jail, and I had to pretend like I'm Shore Patrol to get him out of jail. But
That's awesome, dude.
what we find out in that time frame in the 90s, there was this big shift that like Big Navy was really leaning on the teams. And this is when it became,
Sounds about
and
right.
why it still is now, someone goes to jail and they don't just get released to go home. They wait to the Navy. They had an agreement. Big Navy, when it worked out there, they release them to them so that they know about it, whether charges or whatever. And there's still like alcohol incidents where like they were being forced to crack down. And so there's a bunch of like people.
Wait, can you tell the story about how you were pretending you're Shore Patrol to get the guy out? That sounds fucking awesome.
Well, I don't want to jump. Well, yeah, sure. So
Well, let me wrap it up.
So
So
wait,
basically,
was he the guy that came in to get you out of this?
No. This is a totally different story. But what I was going to say is I retained this lawyer. He sends me a letter, like charges dropped. I give it to the CMC, and he's basically still like,
No.
tough shit. Fucking, you're probably.
Yeah.
And I had to literally request a court martial.
What a dick.
And that fucking drug on forever. So if you want to hear the full story, I don't know what episode it is. We'll
which
figure it out.
includes the naked negotiation with the CO in the shower.
Yeah,
that was
that
exciting.
was great.
and you find out he actually didn't kill all the baby dolphins.
Yeah.
That was someone else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's a good dude.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Ultimately, it worked out for the best. I wound up going back, completing STT, and the rest is history.
There we go.
But yeah, that whole thing with Navy Region Southwest, like used to, if you didn't divulge that you were military, like if you get pulled over and you get a DUI and shit like that, you used to be able to kind of like skirt around that
Just handle it in
shit.
civilian
Unless
court,
they
yeah.
knew specifically you were military, there were ways of kind of sweeping shit on the rug. And I'm sure there was a number of dudes who did that. Even I mean,
In this room, maybe.
yeah. Yeah. So
Maybe.
but yeah, it's only, I don't know.
Didn't Coviello go do a month in prison on leave?
Yeah. He took leave and legitimately was,
wild.
I don't know what he was charged with specifically, but it was in violation of like the Lautenberg fucking, like he shouldn't have even been allowed to carry a gun or do any of this shit. And ultimately I think he got everything kind of expunged and
Yeah.
but dude, we're literally on deployment, and they're like, dude, you were literally charged with a domestic violence with a firearm, and you went and did 30 days in jail.
I'd like to see that leave check. I need 30 days to go hang out with my friends.
Yeah. Well, dude, that was a testament to how cool our fucking platoon chief was, and he was just all like, "I'll
That is
take
pretty
care of
cool.
it."
Yeah.
like
That's really
this guy's had a family emergency, and like,
I feel like it doesn't work that way.
well, it was a family emergency.
I feel like nowadays guys are just trying to fuck as many people as possible.
Well,
It's
and
like
you know
just
what? I
backstabbing.
think, it's like with anything. Like in a group, like, hey, can I? Like, no, but if you like corner
Yeah.
someone one-on-one, you might get something different from them. So in that particular situation I'm talking about, it's another guy in our class, Walter. We won't have to say his last name. And
Who's a lawyer now?
yeah, and
Awesome.
he's like, we would joke, like he looks like Mr. Bean, right? And but super smart guy, and just unassuming, but he was a great swimmer, great runner, like everything in buds. I think he got the fire in the gut because he's just this, like, and funny dude, dry humor. So we get to STT, and he gets a DUI, and this all drove him to become a lawyer.
Yeah.
No shit.
Really?
Yeah.
So
weird how things
I
work
think it
out.
used to be, I forget the bar's name. It's changed names many times, but we referenced it as dollar DUIs because it was like dollar drink night. And
Was it like Fibber McGee's or some shit?
yeah, something like that. But it held true to its name. So Walter gets a
Dollar
DUI.
DUI.
We show up the next morning, and someone tells me. I'm like, shit. And then so I immediately call no, maybe it was that night. Actually, yeah, I'm confusing some stories. So that night, find out that he's in jail, and they're not going to release him unless it's to Shore Patrol. So I literally drive on to NAB, and I might have had a couple drinks, and I bring up to the guy. I'm like, hey, man, a friend of mine, blah, blah, blah. He broke up a fight. He was trying to say this. And I just made up the story. Like I could see which guy to talk to. And he's like, dude, I get off an hour. Meet me at the thing. He gives me his Shore Patrol patch.
No way.
I go put my
Wow.
whites on. I go down there to get him. And they're like, you have to come back in whatever it is. Like he has to do 12 hours in the tank, drunk tank. You can come back in 8 hours or whatever it is to get him. So I'm like, all right, I got to get him. He doesn't know that I'm doing that. So Walter at some point called because he's like, well, now I'm also going to be UA. So he called the command. And so when I get in there, I don't think anyone knows. I got my plan. We're at the morning muster. I'm going to go back and get him. I'm kind of shuffling over this, but there was a little more discussion with the guy. I'm like, hey, man, blah, 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 this. And like I might have bartered some things or whatever. But so he gives me the patch, and I think I still have it. I got to look through my stuff.
That's a
And I
badass
just
Shore
went,
Patrol
Well,
guy.
that's all it
Because
is.
Shore Patrol, yeah, it's just a fucking stupid little thing. Goes
That's
in
all
your
you
arm.
have.
And it's
Yeah.
the same Navy ID, like fucking. Maybe it's different now, but this is fucking 94 or 5.
Yeah.
And
You have a designator on there.
so I go into work and whatever, and then I find out that the ops officer already knows about it, and I get called in there because I'm the acting LPO or whatever that
Take your
means.
Shore Patrol patch off.
Well, no, I'm just in whatever we wore. Sure, but and he's
No, I'm
sitting
Shore
there-
Patrol now.
but to your point about this dude's the ops officer, ex-Damnet guy, seems to be like a bit of a square, but he's like, man, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, hey, your guy got a DUI. I'm like, he's one of our best guys. He's like, everyone's telling me that. He's like, fuck. He goes, my hands are tied on this. I'm like, well, and I'm like, go for it. I'm like, sir, I actually went down there. He's like, huh? And they were going to release him to me. And he was like, really? And he's like, I could see he's like interested because he doesn't want this to go anywhere. And then I told him.
Going.
And I tell him, I was like, and I was like, I go down there, but they said, he's like, you think you can do it again? He literally says that. Yeah,
bet
he's
your
like, you
freedom-loving
think
ass.
you can do it again? So,
Some red cell shit, dude.
so we were able,
Straight up.
but the command knows, but Big Navy doesn't know.
Which is all that matters.
Yeah, which is like he doesn't have to do all the same things, but he's still in probation. He's able to go into our platoon. We end up in a platoon together, and those types of things. But I don't know if that would have been, if anyone else was around, obviously. But I confronted him, and I'm just like, hey, I was like, I just went down to get him, and I might have not have said I had a Shore Patrol pack, but I was like, hey, I just
need
put
to
my
divulge
whites on.
that.
He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, that's just
Doesn't
really.
need
He's
to
like,
know all the
he goes,
details.
you think you could do it again? And
They were just gonna
we
give
still
them to
joke
you?
about
Yeah,
this.
it's the craziest thing. I said, hey,
Yeah.
I'm here to pick up my buddy. And they're like, oh, yeah, come back in a little bit. Yeah. They were totally chill.
And honestly, that was one of those fucked up DUIs to where the dude actually, he did the right thing. He goes, man, I've had a little too much to drink and sleeping in the back seat.
Yeah.
And probably had the fucking keys in ignition and the
Yeah.
car running.
Yeah.
And they fucking.
Which you've all done.
Yeah, and the cops literally give you a fucking deuce. He's like,
That's
I'm not
such a
driving,
dick
dude.
move, man.
I'm trying to do the right fucking thing, and you
not freeze
hammer
death.
my tits for it. Versus, I could have just got in the car and ran the gauntlet and take my fucking chances.
Yeah. Because the results are the same.
Yeah, it's weird
Yeah.
that you can just be drunk with the car on and be cited for
Yeah.
that.
Well, you were in possession of the keys. I'm like, but you didn't physically see me driving, motherfucker.
Yeah. Like, I understand why they have that stipulation, but at the same time, that should be up to the officer to be like, hey, he's clearly not fucking
Well,
driving.
It is up to the
it is
officer.
up to the
That's-
officer.
yeah.
I mean, he could not be
Yeah.
a dickhead and go,
100%.
hey.
That's what I mean.
I
Being a
remember,
dick about
like,
it.
the first time I even found out about that, I was living in Palm Beach, and we drove up for college spring break to Panama City. And my buddy Jeremy literally was hammered fucking drunk in his Jetta, and we didn't have nowhere to sleep that night, so he just turned the heat on and we slept in his car, and like,
Yeah.
And he's hammered drunk, like, eyes like, completely bloodshot, everything. The cops
Fuck you, pig!
Yeah, and the cop, yeah, right.
They'll never
Cop's
take
like,
us
hey, what are
alive.
you doing? Did you just drive here? He's like, no. And I'm like pretty sober at this point. I was like, no, we weren't driving anywhere. It's his car, so he turned the thing on. He was like, all right, well,
Put
don't
this in your
fucking
mouth till the
drive.
swelling goes down.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, just don't fucking
Wait a minute.
drive. You know
See,
what I mean?
that's what it
Yeah,
should
he
be
let it
like.
go.
You're not driving.
Yeah,
Like you're
exactly.
just trying not
Yeah.
to freeze you.
He was like, just so you know, I can cite you for a DUI right now. And I was like, for being in the fucking vehicle? Just being in it? You
The
know?
two guys I know that got it, that what they were told was like, I don't know how you got here.
That's
Is what
it
they
is.
told him. Like, you could have drove here.
Right.
But
And now
I
you're
didn't.
just telling me a
Yeah,
story.
it's like, and it almost becomes, but I can give you a DI, so I will. But that type of thing. Yeah. And
I think if they say you're being genuine, you're not full of
Yeah.
shit, they may or may not.
Which is kind of funny. I get both sides of it, but at the same time, it's like, how the fuck did they prosecute you for something they did not see you doing? They're like, well, you were in possession of the keys. I'm like, yeah, I could have fucking driven here.
If you go to
and
court, then
I
you-
could have chugged a fifth of Everclear too.
Yeah.
Since I got here, you didn't see me. You didn't physically see me drink. You didn't physically see me drive.
If you go to
obviously
trial,
I'm
you'll likely get
inebriated.
You know what's funny? I saw somebody do this on Instagram, and I was like, what the fuck is he doing? It seems fucking weird. And then I realized why he did it, and it's fucking genius. So this guy's in this fucking this chase with the cops, right? And he crashes his fucking car, and it's all on dash cam from the cops, obviously. He fucking immediately jumps out
And starts chugging?
slams a fifth of fucking
Yeah.
tequila,
That's right.
and then throws it down. He's like, all right, arrest me.
Yeah.
It's like, now he's at least not getting the DUI.
so we have a
like,
buddy,
fuck.
same time frame, that completely different life now, that brand new to the teams, Team 3, he gets pulled over for a DUI and just takes off. And they're like, hey, it's like, and I think they were like yelling back and forth, and the cops like letting him know like this is a bigger charge. He's like, but not for me, and no, because he knew the law. Like
Yeah.
it's everyone's their own version of a lawyer at that point. And sure enough, he gets like resisting arrest. It's like a big deal. But at that time, this stupid thing about DUIs, you automatically were going to either lose your trident or this and this. So he got put
Yeah.
on probation and was like gate guard for 6 months over at NAB and had to do it in his
damn.
whites, is
Yeah.
what his command did. But then he never had he didn't get busted down,
Didn't
didn't
get
get
a
hands, because it was like an automatic Navy rule for like 5 years that if this
Yeah.
happens, you got to bust them down, you got to do this. And so he stayed in his platoon, and guys were like, being in his probation period, he would have not got his trident, and it was smart.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a higher charge with the regular courts, and he had to deal with that. But it's like,
Yeah.
kept his career.
Yeah.
and he was smiling, saluting you on base for 6 months. And,
I bet, man. Well, that's part of the reason I never went reserves afterwards,
Yeah.
because my life's always been like shades of gray.
Yeah.
And I was always like, I'm okay dealing with the civilian courts because there's laws and rules and whatever. But the military court is like, if they think
Kangaroo, dude.
you're fucked,
Yeah.
like what happened to Eddie Gallagher, if they want you, like they're gonna fucking get
Yeah.
you. It doesn't matter what the fucking actual laws are.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons I never went in reserves after I got out. I'm like, as soon as my paperwork cleared, I'm like, whew, all right, I only have to
Yeah.
deal with one. It's not double jeopardy. You only have to do the
Which
one
that's
set of laws.
that's the whole the propensity of whatever it's called, the threshold of guilty, innocent, or the what there. I know there's a phrase. It can literally just be like, I've heard, the CO, it's your word against whoever. The CO can go, I know there's nothing being proven beyond a reasonable doubt here. He goes, but when I went to mass and got my first bust, it was like, yeah, I know you just told me all this shit, and I know the courts dropped your case because of the evidence or lack of evidence, but I have to go under the advisement of my command master chief. I'm going to reduce in rank to fucking E4 and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, motherfucker, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it has
Like, I
to
literally
do-
told you everything that happened.
Yeah, they don't care.
It's
Well,
like, nope.
I think it has to do with maritime law, and maybe it's just military law. I don't know how the two are correlated, but I know, like, if you're the captain of a ship, basically your word is fucking
Yeah, it's
law.
law. It's law.
So if you're the CO, you're the captain of that ship.
Absolutely.
So you can do whatever the fuck you want,
Yep.
and like, good fucking luck
There's no
challenging
repercussions.
it.
Well,
either.
there is some difference to that, because I actually, whenever I request a court martial, if you're on a ship, if you're at sea, the CO can go, no, you have to go to mass. Like, you can't request court-martial.
No shit.
Because you're at war. You're deployed.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah.
at sea or whatever.
You could still do court-martial when you're back
Once you're
to
back.
get things reversed.
Right.
Exactly.
But you're still
You just
going to
can't do
be
it while you're
possibly
there.
thrown in a brig, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And restriction,
Because
all
I
that
remember
stuff.
when I requested court-martial, the CO was like, you can't do that. This is a sea command. And they're like, well,
Yeah.
Did you guys hear back in like 2016? There was like 5 guys that all got their tridents pulled at Team 2 for smoking weed.
No.
Yeah, I was there. So I was like, we were.
you're
at,
smoking weed with them.
Yeah, totally.
Nice sold it to
These
him.
are
He wasn't
plugs.
smoking.
Yeah, I'm the one that ratted him out. No, actually, what had happened was we were, I think we're at Fort Knox doing SALC, right? So I was out with those guys. It was golf platoon. And one of the guys, I'll keep the names out of it, but he's senior chief, Warcom Sailor of the Year, best guy at the platoon, like by far. Awesome. Everybody, he was the go-to guy. Even the senior enlisted were saying like, hey, if we're going to do X, Y, Z, it's golf. Golf's going to do it because he's there, whatever. So we're all out one night. I went to Louisville actually, and these 2 chicks get in the car with us. We're in a van, and they start smoking weed. And so the van just fucking stinks. Stinks,
Hot
right?
boxing it, yeah.
And we bring the van back. They weren't smoking.
But like weed and fish.
Yeah, they
Patchouli
weren't
oil.
smoking, and we had the OIC of that platoon in the van with us, and he was like, "Whatever." And one guy was passed out in the back, and he was like, "Whatever." And we get back the next morning, and someone from another platoon borrows the van, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And then they go to the OIC, and they're like, "Hey, man, are people smoking in your van?" He's like, "No," and he's like, "Dude, it smells." He's like, "I'll take care of it," and he immediately just goes and rats everybody out. And says that he saw him smoking. He had nothing to do with it.
Wait, were they actually smoking? Or
No,
were they...
but he didn't remember. So he just went and
What
lied.
a cockbag.
Yeah, literally lied. And so there's like 4
Why
or
just
5
blame it on the
guys.
hippie chicks?
Yeah,
Fucking
Th-
easy.
Yeah.
that's what they did. They're like, God, it wasn't us. These chicks got in and smoked weed,
Yeah.
and the van just smelled.
Yeah.
And they're like, don't want to hear it. You know, the OIC says you guys are smoking. You're going right back to Virginia Beach, and you're taking a drug test now. And they sent them home. They all popped negative. Every one of them.
Yeah.
And they all got their trident.
They still
How
fucking
the
Every
fuck?
last fucking one.
Wow. That's like the asshole that fucking writes himself up like a Navy commendation
Yeah.
medal for saving the military, like $30 or something.
Yeah, it was
But
crazy. man.
there is rules about paraphernalia. And
Well-
like weird stuff that you don't even have to pop. Like if there have been people like with papers and shit like that, or they find a roach in their car, like they don't have to, like they can. And again, it's in JP, right?
That
so
was
if
the
you
thing.
go
So
to
one
court
guy,
martial.
the senior chief, he fought it tooth and nail to the bitter end because
Yeah.
he was 18 years in. They took his retirement.
Yeah.
They took his
man.
bird. He got everything back.
Yep.
Oh, that's
everything
good.
back.
Good for him.
But
He had to request court-martial, I'm
well,
guessing.
here's the thing. They were like, look, we're not going to fuck you guys. If you guys just come to captain's mast, we're not going to take your birds. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that.
No.
And they were all like, fuck you,
No.
captain's mast. And the moment they all requested captain's mast, they all got their birds pulled instantaneously.
Yeah.
And only one guy, because apparently this guy, like after this whole thing, he was like depressed as a motherfucker because he basically, the CO and the CMC pulled him in, basically gave him this scenario. They were like, hey, you're in a C-130. Everybody's handcuffed to the deck. There's only one parachute and you can get out. Are you going to get out? Or are you going down with your buddies? And he was like, and they were like, we'll guarantee you if you say that they were doing X, Y, Z, that we'll, because they were like deep into this
Yeah.
now.
What the fuck? Oh,
They're
they're
deep
trying to
into
they're
it.
trying to save their own ass. smoking
Exactly. They
bad.
were too deep into it. They had started prosecutions. They'd taken birds. They were like, we'll let you stick around with your trident. You can keep doing what
See,
you're
these
doing.
Boy Scout officers, dude.
Yeah.
That's some
It
bullshit.
was
But yeah, I
fucked.
will say, like, dude, when you fire off a court-martial, dude,
So there's what
goddamn
happens.
admiral was like, what the fuck?
They get scared when there's a court martial
Right.
because now it's bringing the attention. There's going to be an actual judge that's
Yeah.
going to outrank the
Yeah.
boss's boss's boss, and yeah. So now they're like, what the fuck? And it looks bad on
Well,
them.
it takes
and,
it out of their hands, too.
And
Exactly.
there's an investigation, and other shit can pop up.
They
So,
discovery, all kinds of shit.
but it's still E1 through whatever. It's their right to suggest court martial.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've had guys. I think on one deployment, the dude that supposedly killed the Blackwater guys and the one team guy hung from the bridge.
Yeah.
On one of our deployments, roll that dude up, and then someone said that he was abused. That and there was no like, he got punched in the stomach or whatever. And so this thing's going to go to captain's mass, and literally it was going to go away, but that chain of command had no. I mean, they've burned so many people. It was going to go away because they were told by Army or whatever, like, yeah, there's nothing here. Just do whatever, slap some people. And so these kids didn't trust it at all. They're like, no, we're going to captain's mass.
Yeah.
Which is the worst
Or
thing
court-martial.
they wanted to go to Admiral's mass or a court martial. And so that command was like, what the fuck? And people are like, well, that's their
What do
right.
they expect, dude?
And
Yeah.
they don't
Start
trust
fucking
the
people
system.
like they're
Other
gonna
people have
push
been fucked
back.
over.
Yeah.
But that was a case that if they knew behind the scenes what was going on, they probably would have been okay. And they turned out it just dragged things out for them and everyone. But it still was the only way to play it safe.
Yeah, and when you're a younger dude too, I mean, now being 48 and a lot of life experience, I've been out almost twice as long as I was ever in now. So looking back on some of the situations, thankfully I narrowly escaped a lot of these situations, so I didn't have to go through all the shit.
Yeah.
But some of my friends weren't so lucky and had to go through it. And to be honest, man, when I was in it, I didn't know what the fucking right answer was. I didn't know what to do or anything. But now looking back, it's just the experience, and you have so much more life experience. You're like, dude, fuck these motherfuckers, dude.
Yeah.
Well, and after the command has
Hey,
definitely.
gentlemen, I need to pop in here real quick. Sorry. Take a quick bit.
Yeah, take a break.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Quick,
Yeah,
take
I'll be
five.
quick.
Take five.
I think we're back.
Clip and clap.
Official.
Yeah. So we had an impromptu. Had to take a piss real quick, but going back to that story you were saying, kind of over the break, and we won't say the guy's name, but
Yeah, we're just talking about like guys getting in trouble and like people,
getting fucked over.
So
by
here's the
team.
thing: like as I made rank, and for sure once I like made chief, it's already expected that I'm a good team guy. Now you're also the parent. And it's not just when people are doing things good. It's like when he gets in trouble, that's part of my job.
Yeah.
And so it always killed me when I hear guys like, "Yeah, this motherfucker," but like, no, that's part of your job.
Yeah.
Like these are the resources you have. Figure out a way to get the most out of him, and then if you're at a different command, her. Like these are your resources. How you motivate them, how you do this, and people complaining about that. Well, then don't fucking pick up your check.
Yeah.
And I used to hate.
Don't be in a leadership position.
I used to hate that our eval came before the first classes. It should be based on how they perform. If you don't got anyone that's fucking breaking out, then what
Yeah.
are you doing? That's directly should affect shows your performance.
Yeah.
So in this case, still new guy. It's right after we went through STT. It might be like 6 months, maybe a year later. Got this new guy at the team that is a fucking stud. And any of the things that we've seen that the world has seen on TV about big hits and like he's been a part of that group. That's one of the main people a part of it. Like he's studied everything. When he was in Buds, he was such a good boxer that he was hired to be the sparring partner for Tony Norris, who's lived in San Diego as the welterweight champion. So he was going through Buds and then being the sparring partner for the welterweight champion.
Holy shit.
Like, and then he taught himself MMA, and he's like pinning people at the like whatever gym. Like he's just amazing. He worked for me later on, and everything this guy did, taught himself Arabic with like cue cards and whatever.
What?
Like, just like and
That's a hard fucking language.
goes
It's
on.
just, like a different level of motivation.
Yeah.
Goes on to Dan
Yeah.
Neck, and just like you can't find anyone that will talk bad about this guy because he's quiet, funny as shit, and a stud. Like he can quietly kick your ass as well as he's a great performer.
That's awesome.
But as a new guy, I don't know who it was. There's some type of get together downtown. He's probably with friends or whatever, but he's with his wife, very attractive woman, and she has a lot to drink. He has a lot to drink, and they get in a fight, and then she's leaving. And for whatever reason, the 90s in San Diego, you can do a lot of things, but what you couldn't do is fucking jaywalk. You would think jaywalking in San
Dude.
Diego, like police would pop up on their little bikes and little
They
things,
would, man.
and it's just like, what the fuck? It was just insane downtown, like
And now
jaywalking.
you can shit on the sidewalk.
Watch it right there, asshole.
Yeah.
Watch that happen the other day.
Serve and protect.
So
Yeah.
his beautiful wife in a shiny, probably well-fitting dress gets like multiple cops surround her, and I think they were a bit handsy. And he comes and he's quite the jump. He said, "Hey, blah, blah," and he's trying to, and they're like, "Get down!" And a guy decides he's going to hit him. One, does something that whatever he did not make him happy about his wife. And then when he tried to stop him, that guy tries to swing a club at him. He ended up knocking out like 4 to 6 cops. and like, hey, I told you guys, no problem. So he's in the clink. And, I don't even know the guy then, but I know of him. And I can hear people talking about like shit canning this guy.
What?
And,
Yeah.
right?
Fucked,
and then
man.
it was, fortunately, you had someone like Mike Martin, Flesh Tattoo Mike Martin,
Yeah.
that was like, and these guys are all sitting around talking, whatever. And so I'm overhearing it. I'm like,
He's a
fucking
Vietnam
listen.
guy too.
Yeah.
Person.
And he starts talking. He's like, I fucking pulled your ass. He's just like yelling at these other chiefs about, and you're not willing to. And he, fortunately, someone like that was around. A bunch of these guys were willing to fucking just throw this dude away.
Body fuckers, man.
And then when
Yeah.
they dug into the story, they're like, and then it was like he got an apology from the cops and like all this other stuff. And the guy went on to be like, there was Sailor of the Year, Instructor of the Year, like everything he did was he crushed it. And I think he just recently retired and went out east and crushed it back there and did some of the most amazing things. But yeah, just an amazing guy. But that's a good example of another like throwaway that they were going to look
it's
at
always
doing.
the guys
and forget
that are
about themselves.
Super fucked up. They forget where they came from. And
That
it's
was-
not just
that's
like
it.
getting in trouble either.
Yeah.
It's like even when you're in a leadership position, you
Yeah.
forget where you came from. Like, oh, you were fucking perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
You never made any mistakes. Oh, my new guy's so fucking stupid. I can't believe he's got this. And it's like, dude, you were retarded.
Yeah.
Dude, I was there.
Yeah.
Like,
I was
you
with
were
you
dumb
when
as
you did
fuck.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, dude,
Like,
we
who are
had-
you to judge anybody?
Yeah. Well, dude, we had literally the guy that came down hard on our platoon that got disbanded, who would literally, I mean, he had stopped drinking and was just a really bad team guy when he got after it, and was smart enough to go, man, maybe I should stop fucking drinking.
Yeah, that's good.
But would tell these fucking outlandish, crazy fucking stories about whenever he used to get after it. And told this one story one night about literally getting hooked up by the cops downtown San Diego in fucking handcuffs, managed to swim, like flees the scene of the crime. Probably was jaywalking or something fucking stupid like that, Jumps in the fucking bay, swims.
I think I've heard this story
Dude,
third party.
I've heard this story too.
Swims
Yeah.
across
Yeah.
to like fucking the ferry landing there, gets out, runs to the fucking team.
I have heard
Luckily, somebody was at the team. Take fucking bolt cutters, cuts the fucking handcuffs off the fucking
Nice.
guy, and or maybe they were about to cut the fucking cuffs off, and like the cops realized who he was and showed up and like, hey, don't cut our cuffs. We'll let him off, and then that's it. But literally, he tells the story about getting away, and then of course, fast forward a few months, or our whole fucking platoon is in trouble, and he's just hammering our shit, and you're like, dude.
Fuck
You were just fucking telling. He's
Yeah.
like, nothing good happens after midnight type shit, and you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck, motherfucker? Like,
Calm down,
not to
Kettle.
say I know you've been there before, and I get it. You're like,
But say it differently.
Well,
be like,
what's-
guys, I've been where you're at, and
I
there's
still
a
have
reason
to
I don't
fucking
do it
hammer your
anymore.
ass.
And the
What's-
reason is maybe don't go out after midnight.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
One of the interesting things is how because it's like upside down world. Nowhere else in the military do they, oh, you got in trouble? Fine, you're not deploying. Like, they'd be all the time.
Everyone's like,
But that's our fun. But because our world, it's like you want to go, like, oh,
Right.
fuck, I'm not going to get to go to
That's
Iraq.
so true,
And that's
dude.
what we do.
Want to
Like,
get in the game.
yeah, it's insane that we do that. Like no
The
one
carrot is-
like,
is to
oh,
deploy.
That's how I get out of going over the beach in Normandy. I get a DUI. Like you know what I mean? No one's going to do that. They
Yeah.
don't. You don't punish the mission.
Yeah.
You punish the So we have had plenty of stories where a guy doesn't get to deploy because they really know that's how they can hurt you, right?
Yeah.
But you're hurting the mission. So I'm on a deployment with a guy, and first off, on this particular thing, it's like a. Let me think how this is. It's a particular team thing where we're going to do, where just me and this one other person, we're going to be able to do stuff in some other areas, working with friends of ours type stuff. And the name they give me that's going to do this with me, I'm like, he would be better on that similar job that's in Afghanistan. Where I'm going, we're going to be in a lot of countries where there's going to be women and there's going to be booze, and that's kind of where he blows up his life. Every 5 years, like, whoa, he was just put in for this. I'm like, I know, but there's a history there. I know him well.
He's really good at shooting things.
And this person gets forced on me. Yeah. Super smart, and then for this particular work, great for it. He was so fired up. Whatever. We're getting ready to do this stuff where we're going to be going to these bunch of different, doing some really cool shit. You know, it's like Cold War fucking types. It's really cool. And he's excited about it. And there's some things I have to do to turn in the paperwork and get some things approved. Nothing else for him to do. It's like late at night. I'm like, no, man, you can. He's like, hey, are you going to go to the party? Because there's also happened to be a platoon in the same area we were in. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to. He's like, yeah, I might swing by for whatever. Well, fucking things go sideways. And immediately they want to bring him home. Now, we are working for, let's just say, the State Department at this time. That's who we're like. One, we no longer work for the teams. We're working for an Army unit that then's working for this. So that's who our boss is. And there's all this stuff about, I mean, we're just eating our own. And we're like forcing this guy to come home. And the folks that I'm working with at the State Department are like, wait, I thought you work for us. We get to say, like, why would you send him home? Like, yeah, like, take his money, do whatever. But yeah, or in my mind, I was like, hey, we can send him to who is our forward headquarters in Qatar to work for behind the desk, doing the same type of work, and give me the guy that's stuck behind the desk, the Army guy. One, it shows good faith to the Army, and he's still doing something for us. No, he's coming home. Fuck that. Like it was so ridiculous.
There's a lot of knee jerk shit.
And then because there was some shenanigans on how this whole thing went down, you know, and I knew that. And the folks there where this happened, the military folks were basically, you know, as soon as I showed up, they seemed a little too apologetic. I'm like, there's a little bit more to this. And I told the CO, I'm like, hey, man, I think I can get him off this. And like, here's what I'm going to do. Here's how it's punished. We'll take care of this. And he's like,
I got this.
And I was like,
Shore Patrol badge.
I keep it with me. And okay, because here's the deal. Here's what they did. They took his blood, and to take someone's blood, you need an 06, right? So this case, the Navy called in this particular forward place we were, and when they called, they thought it was a captain, but it was an Army captain that was on the watch.
Isn't that an 01?
03.
03.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's a lieutenant. So they thought they had an approval from 06, so they're not allowed to take his blood. So really all this goes. And so I knew that.
Smart.
But the XO was fighting for this, like, you know, like, what are you doing? And
he's like tooth and nail to fuck this guy over.
So bizarre, man.
Yeah, so bizarre. And he was so pissed that I let him, of course I'm not letting you know about it, narc. Like, and I was like, to the commanding officer, I'm like, hey, we never had this conversation. I know I get burned, but I think I could fix this, and here's how we'll do it. And he's like, I'm like, just let me know you're good with it. You know, I'm not going to come back later if something happens. So he told me, like, yeah. So he's like, yeah, run with it. Because he knows who type of guy I am, that I can make this shit happen.
That's
and
such
it was
a smart
done.
switch,
and then the folks that were forward, that there were some of our guys, a part of a chain of command that was there. They were like, they knew it was all going to go. They're like, what the hell's going on with, like, yeah. Anyway, so it goes to shit. And then when we think it's done, the folks that we're working with, the agency that we're working with, is like, how do you guys operate this way? Like, you punish the operation. It's just absurd.
Yeah.
And we've done that so many times. You know, it's like there's other ways to do this, and to throw someone away is the worst. You know?
Yeah, especially when they're a good dude.
Yeah, with a character, absolutely. You can see character early, and a lot of times those folks get missed, and they find a way to hide that. But folks that are fucking up, you know, you can't. You take someone from whatever town, you put them into this work hard, play hard, and don't teach them how to walk that tightrope. Then this is going to happen, and you got to be able to develop them. And the little work goes into that.
That's one of the things I noticed. Like, the longer I stayed in, the guys with the least amount of character ended up in charge of fucking everything. Like, they made mistakes, but they had no character to admit that they had their own faults, and then when they got in that position,
or they're fired up.
Fuck someone, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like,
don't worry, he'll never make rank. We put him over here at ops, and then next thing you know, that command now is a whatever unit. We know a particular person that kept making rank.
That's some 3D chess shit. So
it's so bizarre
for the audience. For the audience that doesn't know the rank switcheroo there. So, and on Army, the reason that a Navy captain is an 06, which is
Yep.
pretty
just
high
like a
up.
colonel.
Yeah, and that would be a person that's in charge of like an entire team, right?
Or a group.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
A group, a ship.
Actually, above who's in charge of
the
an entire
team's
team.
in 05.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty big. But by the same name, also an Army 03, which is basically
That's every branch except the Navy.
who'd be
Yeah,
who'd be in
literally.
charge of like a platoon
Yeah.
is also called
A captain. Yeah, or a Marine Corps captain.
So
or
knowing
Army,
knowing
Marine
the rules
Corps,
and
Air Force,
knowing how
everybody
this is going to
gets
play
it.
out later,
Yeah.
that's such a fucking chess move, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and it's the other thing was, dude fucked up, right? Like, I can't even explain the stupidity of what happened, whatever. But we'll leave it at that. But because it's real easy to give this person, by just saying that, I don't want to give the
we
name
don't-
away.
we don't need details,
But
yeah.
they were looking. They apparently, because I dug into this, and they had a problem, a drug problem going on in this particular base with stuff that was going on
shit.
out in town in this country. And it was like a ketamine thing or something. So they were testing. They thought that that's what was wrong with him.
Oh no
Just
shit.
made an assumption.
He was sleeping in the car while he's waiting for the gate because it was like a long process. And they're like, and he probably looked like, they're like, oh, we got that. And so
Just
they did
jerk
it.
it
Yeah,
along.
they did the blood. And they're like, and then they realized like, okay. So there's all kinds of, and I'm like, well, why are you fucking blood in it? And then, I'm getting the information. It's going to go away. And he's not going to go, like, we're actually going to. So when he ends up coming back, and they can't really do anything to him either because there's nothing. And it was, so all we did is hurt the mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now I'm a singleton for quite a bit of time. And then when I get someone, that person hasn't been working that mission set, and which involved personalities. So this person was not allowed the freedom of movement that I had, and they were stuck to a desk. And that's just one example. We do this shit all the time.
Did he have
That's
a
the knee jerk.
Did he have a parallel level of training?
He probably had more.
Okay.
But being that it was so involved with personalities and people,
Yeah.
it was going to be
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, it's always the knee jerk, They're like, oh, well, I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm just going to immediately try
Yeah.
and fuck him as quick as I can,
Yeah, it's
just so I can get myself.
I don't want
off
to be
from
the senior
underneath it.
man with a secret. You're
Yeah,
like, what the
yeah.
fuck, dude?
Dude,
How about
try
have
to
some
take care of him
backbone?
first,
Yeah.
and then if you can't, like, all right, dude, I did what I could. I'm really sorry.
That's so frustrating. man.
There's so many. I mean, it's fucking same thing you would do probably with your kids. Like, hey, you're gonna stay out here. You're lucky we're allowing you to stay out here.
Exactly.
You're gonna prove yourself you could do the job.
Yeah.
But you got all this other shit to do. Like those folks you see out there working on that, you're gonna be working with them.
Yep.
Like you can have them all doing all kinds of other fucking
Exactly.
shit. And guess what? Know what? There's been so many times that I'd be like, let's just say it's Kevin. Be like, wait, he's in trouble for what? Yeah, I'll take him. Because when someone's trying to get out of that hole, they work their
hard as
fucking
fuck.
ass off.
EMI, dude. Extra military instruction.
Yeah, it's just like you
EMI.
get the couple times that I've been given some of the throwaways. It's just like,
Yeah.
give me that guy. They're like, no, that guy, he's filling up
Yeah.
sand and basketballs because he's in trouble. Like, yeah, give me him.
Yeah.
If he's willing to fucking do that.
I think it was like my third platoon. So I had gone through the several that I was at 12, and then went to be an instructor at our training unit here
Yeah.
in San Diego. And then my very first platoon over at Mobile Unit 3, I got a guy who was, quote unquote, a throwaway, and
Yeah.
his platoon chief said he's a fucking turd. He never puts out all this other stuff, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. Glad that's your opinion. I'll form my own assessment.
Yeah.
I never take anybody's word for anything because it might just be
Yeah.
a personality thing.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Yeah.
And within like 3 days, I was like, either he's either trying to overcompensate, which I don't think so, or he's just not a fucking bad dude and he just didn't like him. Right.
Yeah.
And he ended up being my strongest guy on that platoon.
Yeah.
My strongest guy. He was fire and forget 99% of the
Yep.
time. And if he fucked up, he owned it. He never made excuses. And
Yeah.
I was like, either you did a whole 180 or you like working for me
Yeah.
and you didn't like working for that guy, or that guy just straight up did not like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of personalities. Like, I mean, teams have a lot of personality, which is good in a lot of situations. But
Yeah.
sometimes you get these characters who just, whatever reason, don't mesh
Don't
with other
mesh, man.
characters. And
Yeah.
fuck, man, sometimes there's nothing you can do about it.
The best trick is whether you think you have a complete turd or know-it-all or whatever it is, give them responsibility.
Yeah.
Because whether it's the guy that's like complaining about every plan, like that's not going to fucking work. But it's like, well, let him do it the next time.
Like, okay,
it's
asshole,
gonna
guess who's coming
humble
up with
him.
the fucking-
Yeah.
What do you
It's
wanna
going to
do?
humble him,
Exactly. Yep.
or you're going to see he was just this bored genius E5 that actually has so much more to give,
Yeah, exactly.
and you're going to get so much more out of him. And if he
Precisely.
fails, that's great too, because then, like I said, it humbles him, and now they got to train to do whatever, and it lets you know the box to put him in.
Yeah.
And so just
Yeah.
but people, you don't give them the fucking the code to the nukes, but you fucking give him something, go count the pickles in the jar. Whatever it is first that's not going to destroy things if he's that much of an idiot. Yeah. But if he's not, you give him that. And then I've seen that multiple times and I know that's the shit that worked on me. Yeah. The things that in my life, whether by working, not thinking I'm good at anything, and then my first paycheck, and a guy where I worked as a kid, just like, giving me more hours, paying me more because of the work I'm doing. I'm like, oh, I can outwork people and this, and then you start getting the understanding. Before I forget, the term you use, fire and forget. Mm-hmm. When I first got out, my first job when I got out, I did a year at UCSD working in HR as talent acquisitions ops manager, furthest thing away from the teams. But the term fire and forget has a different meaning. When you're working there, like, oh no, Kevin's great. You just fire and forget. Like, oh, you're going to fire him and forget about it? Exactly. And I'm working in HR. So that in the civilian world has a different term. Like fire and forget means something completely different. I found out.
That's fucking hilarious.
So to your point, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so to your point, like I had another guy on the second platoon I had at 3, and he was a brand new guy. His name was Anthony. But he was always a good idea fairy. Not that he was dumb, but he was always just like, why do we do it this way? Why don't we do this? Yeah. And he would just like go on this tangent of like some plan that he was concocting. And I was like, I always saw it through it. I'm like, it's not going to work because of these 3 things. And then he would be like, I think it'll work. Yeah. And I'm like, all right. So one day, it was specifically for limpets because you guys know you place limpets. We got to take them off.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, fuck me. Right. So it sucks because you got to get in the water.
What's the fucking anti-removal device? A Mark 24? Or is that the
we
Mark 24
talked about this
clock?
last time, and I was like, the anti-removal device, the AR. You're like, what's the anti-removal device? I was like, the anti-removal device.
No, but it's a Mark something, and then there's a clock that. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's a whole thing. I mean, you asked me the same thing last time, and I just remember laughing because I was like, I don't fucking remember the name of it.
Man. Yeah, but funny.
He had all these like bright ideas, and I was like, you know what? I always shut him down, but he still brings them up, and so I'm like, you know what?
Yeah,
Anthony, what did you want to do? And he was like, I think this, and this. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Tell the guys exactly how you want to do it. We'll come in on Saturday, and we're gonna run it, dude. I rented the Midway. We went and fucking we put limpets on the ship.
We got live limpets.
Yeah, we got live limpets.
Taking it out to sea.
Yeah, and I was like, we'll see if yours is faster. And we were so good at getting it done. I mean, the instructors would when they set up the drill, we'd be in and out of the water with all the limpets off the ship in like 45 minutes. And like other platoons were like, holy fuck. Like it took us like 3 hours, which is, you don't want to be in the water back and forth for 3 hours with limpets, right? So, but he was like, I think my way will be even faster. And I'm like, I don't think so, but happy to try it, right? And we're like an hour and a half in. We're like, we found like one limpet and pulled one limpet. And he's just like, okay, all right. Yeah, I see the error in my way now.
That's awesome. Well, and you got kids?
Yeah.
Kids?
One.
How many now? 3?
I got 3.
5,000?
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
So
that you know of.
If they say a child by the time they're 18 has heard no like 150,000 times or something, right?
Like that,
It's crazy. 22 times a day at this age, whatever. So now I'm not saying I'm not like fuck no on some things, but on some things because you become the person that says no everything. The same thing in that scenario.
Absolutely.
So if sometimes you can let them get to know themselves, like
it's like okay, stupid.
Oh, okay. So and so's mom's taking you. No, but then you got no, but and then they just kind of stop because they know it's not fitting into some of the things, and that's at least now as they get older, it's not just like I can't go to this. And the same thing when you're in leadership, it's just like if you let someone play out a couple of those things. Mm-hmm. And sometimes finding out they're an idiot on their own, or sometimes finding out like, hey, yeah, this didn't work, but at least he thought about my, he valued my idea. Now they feel like they're part of the team, the inclusion.
Yeah. Well, you owe your guys answers too. Yeah. And that's the other thing. Like I know guys are in positions of leadership, and people would ask questions about because that's how we fucking do it, or because I fucking said so. Or it's like they're going to be in a position of leadership one day. They're going to be asked the same question, and they're asking because they want to know the answer because maybe they don't understand it yet. Or maybe they think they understand it, but they want to see your understanding of it as their leader. Yeah. And you're like, because I said so. It's like, dude, you're not their dad.
Yeah.
You're there to teach them, to guide them, to mentor them through this process. So when they step into this position one day, they're not the guy doing what you're doing. Yeah. Right.
It only takes probably 1 or 2 times, and then that person's not only going to not bring up.
Yeah, they respect and trust you immediately after that.
Like when you shit on them and shut them down, to not bring it up because you're not going to consider it, and then they stop even thinking. Yeah, like, I don't need to think of an idea because no one's going to do it. And so you're crushing ingenuity and all kinds of stuff. So, if you can give some rope for opportunity to come up, it's like in your world now. I was listening to this thing that Tarantino was saying that when he was making Reservoir Dogs, that's the first thing Harvey Keitel told him was like, hey, when your actors come in, let them tell you, because they've been reading the script day one, let them tell you what they think it should be. Because otherwise, once they see you doing it, it'll already change in their mind.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the same reason why, like, if we're having a meeting and the CO comes in, like, we all now are trying to come up with the plan that we think he wants.
Exactly.
It's like, hey, you got to leave, sir. Like, what do you mean? No, I'm kind of like, no. Like, once you reach this rank, you can't be around because we can't get the real idea of things.
People are
and then
afraid
we'll
to bring
bring you
things
in.
up.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and even with the ones that aren't afraid, that now they're like, I'm trying to do it the way I think he wants to.
Yeah.
So I say that with my work now, where the company I work at, it's like some people, it's like, we need you out of this.
Yeah.
And let us come up with some stuff, and then.
Yeah.
Even now,
Which
like
that's a good point. What you're saying with Harvey Keitel's fucking thing is like, it's like, dude, you're gonna get, three actors. You're getting 3 different points of view.
Yeah.
And it may even change the director or the writers. They can go, dude, that's a really good idea.
Yep.
That's better than what I thought.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I never stymie creativity. Like we have morning stand-ups in the companies that I work with now and the one I run, and a lot of the times it's just the same shit that I was already going to cover anyways.
Yeah.
But I'm like, so we're going to do this, and anybody got any input? And people just start telling me the 10 things I was already going to list off, and I never go, yeah, we already thought of that. Yeah. I'm always like, oh, that's a great idea, Andre. Yeah, thanks.
Shut the
thanks
fuck
for that
up,
feedback.
nerd.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Oh,
Shut the fuck up, Donnie. You're out of your element.
Yeah, exactly. You're out of your element. Yeah, you always just let them know, like, hey, please give me the feedback. Because every once in a while they do hit you with a fucking diamond.
Well, that's what I learned from when I was about 5 years ago. Our company was a lot bigger, and I was going through. I've never been in a leadership position in the teams. It's like an E560 gunner most of my time, except for Buds. But that's a whole different. You're not really leading. You're just kind of corralling a bunch of fucking
Herding cats.
Yeah. Please don't kill yourself and other people.
Yes.
So I was thrust in this leadership position with like 24 people on staff at the time. And I'm like, fuck, I'm not qualified to be in a leadership position. So I was going through this position of like learning I was listening to a lot of Jocko's podcast. Mm-hmm. And that's something he said where he's like, if you let a person come up with their own idea, they have buy-in. They have
100%.
They have an actual a vested interest in seeing that plan succeed.
Come through, 100%.
Way more than. I think
You just shut them down immediately. Then
and I think you got to be number one self-aware. Is a huge thing. All the things that we're talking about is like, dude, if you can build somebody's self-awareness where they realize, hey, my ideas kind of fucking suck, maybe it's something, or maybe your idea is really good. Maybe this is something I'm good at. Yeah. But I think if you can nurture that in other people and give them rope to run, you can develop some really fucking amazing talent within your organization.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I had a platoon chief that would literally, he comes into the platoon and there's one guy who had he was bitched about fucking everything. And so the platoon chief knew that this guy's reputation of just complaining all the time. So he comes in and he goes, hey, we have a complaining, what do you call him? A complaining petty officer. He goes, nobody gets to piss and moan about anything until this guy does it first. And so he basically put it on him as like, hey, motherfucker, you already have a shitty reputation of complaining about everything. Yeah. So he goes, he's basically like diming him out in front of the entire platoon.
No, you want to say it? Tell him
no,
first.
sorry. No, you can't complain
did you
until
complain
he does
about it
first.
Yet? You shut the fuck up, then you can't
right
complain.
off the bat, like this dude was like, oh my God, like kind of put him on notice. Like, hey, motherfucker, I know you're a fucking bitching motherfucker, but the other thing too,
I'm the complaint petty officer.
That's hilarious. Complaint petty officer.
Yeah, but the other thing too, I found interesting about when I look back on the teams, and I didn't really, I had a weird epiphany probably around like 2010, probably about the time I made fucking chief. And I made chief at like 18 years. So I'd had a lifetime. I was
fast track.
I was in E6 for like 11 years. And I noticed in the SEAL teams prior to like 07, 08, I think is when we got our own rate. Like you would have guys who, because we took that specific rating, a test for that. So like in the SEAL teams, you would have a HMC, like a Master Chief Hospital Corpsman, And those guys were not necessarily on the fast track, but they're one of the only rates that actually worked in their rate in the community. Yeah. And they got a little extra accelerated knowledge because they would go to the fucking long course or they would go to 18 Delta fucking, and so they're working in their rate and they know a little bit more. Plus, they're SEALs, so you kind of had a lot of team guys that were being promoted, not necessarily off of fantastic shit that they were doing in the teams, just that they would either cut a raw score and then they would be like, oh, well, this guy's whatever, until we actually broke stuff down. It was like, hey, this is what a SEAL needs to
you're getting promoted on SEAL qualifications rather than HT
leadership qualifications.
There's a little bit more to that too. I'll add, Kevin. So let's say whatever rate, depending on how manned that rate was in the Navy, doesn't matter what your score was on whether or not whether or not you're going to make that rank. Yeah. So let's say it's a
ladder,
HM or Hull Tech, that they're only going to make 50 this year.
Yep.
And so you're going to have to reach this multiple on the test. The multiple is a score as well as your eval, which you get. It's like a multiple. Yeah. And so our multiple is like, hey, it was different. It should only be this, but it still had these other things factors. Right. So your evals and stuff going in. So to his point, there's some of those rates would have been a lot easier, and those tests and the corpsmen, they're probably actually going to be better than all the corpsmen because they're actually doing real. They're not just handing out motion.
Yeah. I remember there's quite a few people on the team that were like not very good team guys at all, but they made their rank, and they're like chiefs and senior chiefs. I'm like, you're a horrible fucking team guy.
Yeah,
like,
and where I was going with that is the fact that you had some guys who probably advanced as a result of just
playing the game.
Either having a good knowledge or book smart and being able to pass shit and
or they're in a rate that was open.
Yeah, exactly.
That too, yeah.
And so, but what I saw was there wasn't a whole lot of I don't even know what the fucking word is, like buddy fucking, because
you weren't competing against each other.
You weren't competing against each other. So for example,
but nowadays you have your own rate. So
well, that's the thing. So when I saw the SO rate come in, and it got to a point where you would see, oh, okay, there's 6 platoons, and they're like, and dudes would know, they're like, oh, okay, well, we're only going to probably promote the top 2 or top 3 E6s that come, or not E6, but E7s. The big one was E7 to E8. Mm-hmm. So typically it'd be like, okay, these platoons are coming back from deployment. You have 6 platoon chiefs, and like they're probably only going to make 2 for sure, are probably going to get advanced and probably make E8. Mm-hmm. Maybe you get a third guy. But the first time I really saw it to where there was like what I saw as buddy fucking in the teams and guys kind of fucking each other over was because of that SO rate. And I remember sitting in, like, my chief was gone somewhere, and I was probably going to put on chief. And so I'm actually sitting on the E6 board. We're ranking the E6s and I'm an E6. But I'd made Sailor the year before and a bunch of other shit, and they're like, this guy's going to put it on. But we're still ranking all this shit and we're in the goat locker, and there's all these chiefs, and they're ranking guys in their platoons and then other platoons, and then all of a sudden, like in front of like the ops master chief and the command master chief, shit like this, I hear like one platoon chief basically dime out another platoon chief about how a guy in his platoon had gotten a fucking DUI and they didn't inform the command, and it was just like,
Jesus,
like some of the worst.
Those breakout boards.
But your fucking buddy got a DUI.
Like some of the worst buddy fucking.
That's a big turd to put on the table, dude.
So those breakout boards, like once I made chief, like my folks always were Sailor of the Corps, always were instructor of the year, and it wasn't because like it was because I was better than them in there, because I'm gonna out-talk you, I'm gonna be quicker, and I know. Like when they pull that shit, like, yeah, but that was because when you were fucking with the tranny and blah, blah, blah. I fucking know, right? Like, it's not going to work. But also, I'm not going to put someone up for that doesn't deserve it. It's like, it's a process, right? Like, so as it's coming, it's like, wait a second. I'm expecting these other people to vote for Kevin. What can I, like, especially like at Butts, like, okay, Kevin doesn't know it, but now I'm whoring him out to go work for you at first phase. You're going to go help him out. Like, what the fuck, man? Because I need you to understand how, like, I know how well he works, but then you're going to be like, that fucking Kevin dude. Yeah. And like, man, he is, like, and like, hey, you're not going to be on we volunteer for Hell Week, but we're not going to be on the shift together. I want you on his shift so they can see. So when I put you up, it's like, hey, here's what he did for me. And you guys work with him, right? They're like, yeah, that dude's fucking solid. Because that's my job, to get you exposure and not just that. And then in there, so if I'm putting you in position, like, because we'd be in there, there'd be other chiefs like, yeah, he really didn't do anything. And I'd get mad. This guy doesn't even work for me. Like, well, what did you do to put him in a position to excel? Well, I mean, he just has his job. I'm like, yeah, but
fuck you, Mark.
Like, what did you do months leading up to? Did you give him more stuff? And like, he's your LPO, and you're like saying he's only a P. Well, why didn't you fire him and put someone else in? And they're like, well, he doesn't deserve to be fired. Well, why didn't you find it's just like you should be trying to
put
grow
the guy
this.
in a position to succeed. And that was the other thing too. I saw at Bud's where we had a guy who was the phase LPO, and he was at like fucking 19 years, but he'd done like a couple. He came in the teams late in life, like he was in the fleet. Yeah, came in late in life, and only kind of fucked himself by leaving the team and coming to a shore command to make chief. But now he's in a position. He's at like fucking 19 years. And he has to put on chief at this point.
Yeah, otherwise you're out.
Yeah.
Tenure.
And it's like, and they're like making crack deals. They're like, well, let's make this guy Sailor of the fucking year. But then I remember SQT, they had a guy who they were lobbying for who was probably way less year. Probably, I think he'd only been in like maybe 14, 15 years, but he had actually gone down range and augmented Dam Neck, and he done and was literally the LPO for SQT, and they were like, "Dude, this guy has done this, and this, and you still want to give the fucking Sailor of the Year to this guy?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "Well, he's at 19 years," and I'm like, and I literally voted again. I'm like, dude, if that's all that you can say is that he's at 19 fucking years.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not a fucking reason to.
It's not really
make
qualification.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, this guy he's bending over, but he's not only is he at SQT, where that's a true almost C command where dudes are fucking gone all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And then he deploys on his own and augments, and he's away from his family, which at the time that was an actual shore command. I go, so he actually volunteered to go down range, and dude, like dudes were fucking literally coming down hard on me because this dude was in my phase, and I was like, dude, just because he's in my phase doesn't mean that.
Just look at the stats.
I mean, he wasn't. Yeah, I was like,
check the statute.
And because it's human beings, right? But the one thing you can count on is like usually one of the places have like a scoring system, right? Because when you go in there to board, they start having some way to you put the numbers in a scoring system, and it's like anything. Like, what game are we playing?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to learn the rules better. And I mean, this goes, I remember being overseas and they're just like, we're not doing, people pissed, like, we're not doing any operations. I'm like, don't you got at the lowest level of authority to do, combat FID? Yeah, but that's fucking FID. I'm like, but where the Jackal Kevin lives. Do your combat FID patrol around his house 5 times and go fucking hit the target.
Eventually you're going to get shot
the
at.
boss still, they still, somewhere up there, they still want us to do that, but their hands are tied. They don't want to get in trouble, and they're going to say yes to that. Or being in Afghanistan, it's just like, they shut down this DA we were going to do. I'm like, send it back up as a KLE. And I remember the guy, you're going to get me fired. I'm like, trust me. I was like, I'll write this up. KLE, blah, blah, blah. We got to clear out all this for white space to make sure it's safe, which is the exact same building.
What's KLE again?
Key leader engagement, right? Okay. And it's like, we're going to call to KLE, and he's like, you're going to get me, send it up, and that colonel, Army colonel, sends back down. This is the exact kind of stuff I need to see. Good job. Because he's also a meat eater. Yeah. His hands are tied. I can't say yes to this if you know the game you're fucking playing.
Well, and he needs shit on his eval that says that he was doing shit productive downrange too.
And so the KLE, then you go, it's like, man, the pictures of the guy you're shaking hands with also looks like the guy you have handcuffed. Yeah. It's like just random, storyboard stuff. That
or you're on a fucking convoy, like, wow, weird, we got in a fucking tick.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking weird. Yeah. Like, yeah, motherfucker.
You gotta know the game.
You just got to know the game you're playing. And same thing with this. It's just like, oh, okay. They give points for, you did community service, you did this. So it's basically, and someone told me this once, like, think of a bullseye. The center part is your job. That's what you're doing, right? You got to show that you're doing your job good. You're hitting bullseye.
That's the nipple.
The other thing, the nipple. The other thing outside of the nipple.
The areola.
Yeah. You're trying to okay, that's you working the other collaterals of the command and doing these different things, maybe supporting a Hell Week or whatever. And so you're trying to hit all those spots that's on whoever this guy's list of what's important and the level of importance it is. And if you can talk to that, you're going to fucking win. Even the people, yeah, but so-and-so needs okay, but based on what you said, they did this. Did he do it better than him? Yeah, but he used to okay,
well, he's
great.
got 19 years.
Great.
Yeah,
he used to
exactly.
he used to be able to milk bulls. That's amazing. But that was last cycle. It's not this one. I don't care. It's like right now. So
I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me?
Yeah, exactly. I got nipples, Falker.
Yeah.
Those things.
That was.
Yeah, I got burned so much on that, and then coming up, I remember getting when we were doing the Force 21 thing, I got 2 extra evals in one cycle. I'm like, oh, whatever. Because I was leaving 3, going to a tradeette that just stood up. And it's I had 3. Well, I didn't realize that goes into the multiple. And so because that did, now that's a different, now instead of having 3 evals divided by 4 equals this, I have 5 evals during that same. And so now my multiple changed and I missed Chief by a point. And so now I'm
stupid.
But now I was able to do that for anyone that ever worked for me or that I knew. It's just hey, you can't do that. You need to make sure he gets his eval at this time because it's going to mess up this.
Yeah.
Or the DUI thing we were talking about, well, he hasn't been convicted yet, so we're going to hold up his mask. It's do you think that's going to change it? No, we're going to do the same either way. Then you do it now. Because once he gets that over with, he's on the clock to get out of that fucking hole.
He's got 5 years of purgatory.
Yeah,
So smart, man.
And but it takes that shit happening to you to then be able to, rather than just be pissed about it, okay, I'm going to make sure I'm protecting folks.
I think that's a great takeaway for anybody listening to this too, in their own, because we all work in the civilian world now, and I think there's a lot of overlay over these kind of tactics that we're talking about. Yeah. It's dude, just know the game that you're playing, know the outcome you're looking for.
Absolutely.
What levers and dials can you turn and pull to make this, to make the game play the way, to play the game that you want it to be played,
Yeah.
Well,
you have a lot more control over it than you think you do.
Finding that end state.
Well, and that's a good thing too. You brought up about how good of a leader were you, and how much of a position of success did you put this guy? Because there were guys that worked for me sometimes where, dudes were literally short timing it. And they're well, fuck, I'm either getting out of the military altogether, but they were either, not the phase LPO, but they were the weapons phase LPO. It was just well, it didn't really count for shit.
Some kind of responsibility. Yeah.
But dudes were either I can't make it out to the island. I'm gonna this week, because we'd do a week on, a week off, then a week back on.
Yeah.
And I'd had dudes that were literally just well, we have to do, I have a medical appointment for my this, or I'm like, motherfucker, you know what weeks we're going out there.
It's not a surprise.
And I know that shit, and you can arrange it, but it got to a point where I would rather just the motherfucker just not be there, because the dudes would literally just check out. I'm like, all right, well, I don't fucking need you out there if you're just going to fucking be taking up space and not doing anything.
Yeah. Exactly.
Especially dudes getting out. And dudes getting out are well, fuck it, man. Look, I'm getting out of the military. I'm like, okay, that's fine, and I get it.
You're still here.
Yeah,
it's
but
a chessboard,
you
man.
have a fucking job now.
You can also, it's a chessboard, but you can change out the players on the board.
Yeah, and I definitely see that in myself in terms of, I'm like, I probably could have fucking held that dude's feet to the fire a little bit more. I could have been like, no, motherfucker,
I had a
cancel your
few
fucking
roles
shit.
that all kind of fit. So I had a couple. One of these, I would tell people don't ever tell anyone I'm getting out unless it's within 6 months, because someone on those boards will be like, yeah, but we're giving it. He's getting out, and the guy changes his mind 3 times. And now he if it's within that cycle, I was like, you tell me, and then I will. If it's man, I know you're getting out next year or whatever, and then maybe he's the number 3, not the number 1.
Yeah.
But once so many people get screwed, it's supposed to be for that year of work you did. So that'd be something. The other thing I'd say is do not impose your morals onto someone else, and then, and expect or be mad that someone's morals imposed on you, and then you try doing it to them. Example would be, you'd always hear in the teams fucking Kevin, Bible thumper, is always talking about this, and this. Okay, you're upset by that. But you know that about Kevin, but you're talking about cheating on your girlfriend or your wife, and you ask him to go out to dinner with you with his wife and whatever, you're putting him in this situation to lie for you and expect it. And people would always be like, what's he? And then every time they'd be like, I'd have a story for them, example, and they'd be like, yeah. And then we'd want to come up. One might be platoon space, guy's on the phone with his girlfriend, and someone over here, because everyone's life is so boring that they're always talking about someone else, much like we're doing. We're talking about a bunch of people here. And the guy here's like, hey, last night you hear about Kevin? He was out with his chick. And now, wait, Kevin has a chick on the, like, this shit's gonna fucking happen because now you're pushing this upon someone else that, like, so, they don't live that way, so don't put it upon them.
Right.
And expect them to lie for you. And
don't
just
make your problems their problems.
And he shouldn't be coming in your room and throwing holy water on you. Like, so it's both ways. And so just those
the power of Christ compels you.
So, and that actually, those things that like early, and that's like, there's a few others like that I had like that like, okay, is this just the teams, leadership, whatever. And then when I went to like SRT and at CFT where I got people from all, same. It's leadership. It's just a little different. You can't be as much of a dick, maybe less swear words. And then I end up doing one of those augments for a prevention reconstruction team while I was waiting to put on Warrant, where it's like a SIL commanding officer and a SIL master chief, but we used senior chiefs with these prevention reconstruction teams. I don't know if you...
No, never heard of that.
Yeah.
It was a civil affairs mission for the State Department. And someone decided, I think it was Admiral Winters, was like, yeah, we should, or actually someone decided that USASOC, SOCOM should be a part of it. USASOC was like, great idea, we don't got bodies. And then Admiral Winters was like, great, we're going to do it. So it's supposed to be a 05 and a Master Chief. There's 14 of these PRTs that are like 120 people.
Was that some of the VSO shits too?
Before that. And so this is, everyone else is some random type of Navy, Army, Air Force. And out of those 14 PRTs, 2 of them were going to be run by SEALs. And so because I'm in that holding pattern waiting to put on Warrant, and that's when, what's his name? You worked as an instructor with him. He said he smoked dope, and they pulled his trident because he didn't want to do it.
Oh, yeah.
I had to go do this thing.
Yeah.
But long and short was, so it's me, Vudran, as the commanding officer. And then, of course, our community says we're going to do it. And then, but we don't have master chiefs to do it, so they're sending senior chiefs. So same thing. No one's a SEAL but myself and Shane. And so I have Army National Guard. Yeah. I have CA. I have Navy reservists. And we're going to be in Afghanistan. Yeah, we're going to be in Afghanistan, doing like roads and whatever, and like crazy shit like that. And they're getting. I end up handing out 12 Purple Hearts. I mean, I got Navy reserve machinist mates getting blown up, and but. Same thing, though. It's the same rules. It doesn't matter that it's like this type of person. It's the same thing. These things apply, and they apply in the civilian world. It's just like, hey, figure out the like right now when we have our midterm reviews and stuff coming up, did I put my folks in position? What is important? Like what the company rewards is what's important to them. So I have to figure out what the main thing is that they're focusing on. And even if that's not our job, well, then if there's going to be an area that we're going to support, I'm going to try to get my people to support that. Yeah. And when I can, because now I can get them exposure. And then the same things with just like, hey, this guy acts this way. Just like, hey, man, look what you're doing. Fortunately, I've hired a few team guys, and I got a couple Rangers that work for me, and then we're mixed in with all the other engineers. But the stuff is still the same. Fun. It's the same leadership. It's the same principles of just being a good person and trying to take care of your
managing people. Expectations.
I say this all the time, and I'll die on this hill, but like it always surprises people in the civilian world when I tell them this, because they're like, "Oh, you're in the military, probably the highest level of leadership and all this other stuff," and it makes me laugh every time. I'm like, "You'd be surprised."
Like, you would think so.
Yeah, and I was like, the reality is the military doesn't build leaders; they build followers that they then thrust into a leadership position. And if they were fortunate enough to have a good leader. And pick up the right cues, right? Success leaves cues, and if you're clever enough, you'll pick up on them. Then you were smart enough potentially to emulate that.
You have to intentionally cultivate leadership.
Absolutely, you have to.
And one of the best things to cultivate good leadership is consequences, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so if someone stayed in long enough and was doing the things that have the real consequences, it usually shifts them to become that good leader. Otherwise, they're not going to succeed, right? And those things are missing, or they're not tangible. Maybe if you work in a hospital, whatever, someone's bleeding on a table, but so people not understanding. Like, it used to drive me nuts when we'd work with other forces, and someone's losing their mind about your boots or blousing or whatever. It's
Dude,
just like,
fuck
do you even
off.
know why that is? Have
Yeah.
you ever seen, if it's a Marine, have you ever seen Chesty with, with straps and no thing? But in uniform, he's got all of his fucking medals and he's tight and good to go. But when he's actually fighting, he's got no shirt on and bandoliers.
Yeah.
It's like that attention to detail to shine your boots is mimicking the attention to detail that it needs to clean your gun at war and doing these things that are important.
not the real
it's
focus.
It's an absence of that. So now that folks are forward on a combat outpost, don't be yelling at them that they don't got their hat on or making them wear a fucking
something fucking
road guard
stupid.
belt.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it's fucking,
Yeah.
it's just so upside down.
It's stupidity.
Yeah.
But it's all arbitrary. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Because if you're not clever enough to pick up on what a good leader is, you start barking arbitrary. And I call that arbitrary leadership, which is you're thrust into a leadership position.
Yeah.
You don't know how to lead and you don't know what you should be doing to lead. So you start arbitrarily doing things that you think is leadership. Which is barking orders, making sure everybody's got their fucking, their boots bloused and all this other dumb shit. And it's like, you're just proving that you have no idea what you're doing and nobody should trust
So
you.
it comes back to what we said about like the black and white, the rules and regulations, but also you need to pull yourself out. Especially, I would imagine, I was never, like I said, above 86, but I would imagine the bigger you get, it's your role, it's your job to think bigger and to look at the big picture of things and be like, hey, why are we doing this particular thing? These things apply in this situation, but we got to cultivate guys to think outside the box. We got to cultivate guys to question certain things, to be like, hey, what's the mission? What's the real goal? And let's accomplish that.
Why
without
are we
worrying
doing
about
this?
the
Not
bullshit.
just do it.
Yeah.
Why are we doing
I
it?
definitely feel like that's huge, and a lot of people get fucking so into the fucking weeds and the nuts and bolts of like not understanding, like, okay, but why? But why? Are
That's
we,
the
you know?
secret,
Why are we
right?
doing it?
It is.
But and as a leader, you should never be telling someone to do something without understanding the why yourself.
It
And
happens
the
all
boot
the
thing, right?
fucking time,
and
dude.
and I just heard someone say, and I've heard this many times before. I heard someone else really smart just say, it, like, all of your super successful people are people that are very curious.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
They want to know, like they're looking for the why, and we show up that way. Why, Dad? Like, you can't because it's why? And it drives, because I fucking said so. And it's like we show up that
That's
way
the
and it
easy
gets
answer.
pushed out of
Yeah.
us, right?
Yeah.
And so, you want to stimulate the why and you want to, give these people opportunities to show, like you said, that builds inclusion. It builds them like, hey, I'm part of it. Let them have some solutions. And then it's like, okay, now they're not going to be, they're part of the solution. That way, it's not a problem, and they're not going to.
Well, it's not going to turn into that fucking like because I said so, and you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
well, that's how we've always
That's how
done
we
it.
do it.
That's how we do it. That's how we've always done it.
That's just
so,
weak
and I got like
leadership.
this funny
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
story because Crimmins told us this fucking story, and it relates directly to this. He said, his wife Trina would always they'd buy this fucking roast. She would always cut each ends off of the fucking roast, and she'd put it in this fucking pan before she fucking threw it in the oven. And he was like,
Why do you do that?
he's like, why the fuck are you cutting the ends? I don't know. That's just how my mom always did it for fucking years. And he said, finally, they're back at his in-laws, and they're having some kind of fucking pot roast. And the mother-in-law, she just takes the fucking shit, she puts it in the pan, and he goes, hey, Trina said you used to always, and she was there too. She goes, you used to say you always used to cut the fucking ends off the fucking thing, and then throw the aluminum foil on it, put it in the. She goes, oh, well, we used to do that because we never had a fucking pan big enough to fit the fucking roast in.
So
Yes,
Kremens,
exactly.
Let me just fill you guys in on something. Kremens is much smarter than he lends on, right?
Oh,
because
dude.
that story is a story of the 5 whys.
Yeah.
So if you asked, like, hey, why do we cut it's a story about asking why, and you should be curious. And it's like, maybe this did happen to him, but it's like, hey, Mom, why do we? I don't know. Ask Grandma and the great grandma and whatever. And it gets to the point of like, because it doesn't fit in the oven. Because the ovens were small.
Exactly.
And there's so many good things. Another one that's supposed to be true is the Washington Monument. Washington Monument was just being torn apart or whatever. It's like breaking up, and they're wondering what's going on. And it's like, well, why is this thing, like the marble or whatever, decaying? And it's like, oh, it's because of the cleaning. I mean, a task force was put together. It cost millions of dollars to find out what's going on, why this one is deteriorating more than the other stuff there in Washington. It's the same stuff. And it's like, oh, it's because of the, I might mess up the order. It's because of what we're using to clean it.
Right.
Well, why we got to
Some
clean it?
chemical.
Well, it's because of the pigeon shit. Well, why is there so much pigeon shit? It's because of the spiders. Well, why is there so many spiders on the top of the Washington Monument? But because of the gnats. well, why are the gnats? Well, it's because the lights that we turn on to light the Washington Monument. So by just turning on the lights a little bit later, by using the 5 whys of asking, you can probably get to the real answer in which you're doing something. Yeah.
Exactly.
Can save millions of dollars. So.
I love it. Good time for a break?
Yeah.
Cool.
Hell yeah.